The progressive candidate, zoom out further, has won. Rojava is not progressive. You're wrong. Yes, I am correct. You were tricked by social media posting. He's pro-Palestine. He's pro-Medicare for all. He's pro-Green New Deal. Shut the fuck up. Like, you're being stupid. Deja Fox was literally a K-hiver. Stop being fucking stupid. Shut up. Now, I'm not her. She's one of those people who has become more and more pro-Palestine over the last couple years. So some people have been trying to be like, oh no, she's bad. AIPAC once supported something she did, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, that's true. I would never hide that. But she's going against Israel in the face of repression. Versus you have a 25-year-old K-hiver who hated Bernie Sanders. Fucking smash. That's good. You need to learn you need to understand who your enemies are. I think one of the big problems that the left has is that a lot of people's social media post, as soon as somebody says something like you want to hear one time, you start pretending they're some sort of left winger. A perfect example of this is Andy Bashir or Gretchen Whitmer. Like, you people need to learn who the fuck you're talking about. Like, give me a fucking break. Give me a fucker break. Did you see Israel struck Syria at least twice? Yeah, they don't give it. Yeah, of course they did. Because they're a Zionist imperial state. Her involvement with AIPAC people kept pushing was from 15 years ago. They're supposed to overlook Deja Fox working for Harris. Yes, I know. I know. She went to an AIPAC-funded Israel trip. It is true. She did the thing that used to be what people believed 15 years ago, which was wrong, by the way. If you look at Track AIPAC and other groups that are focused on supporting Palestine, you'll see that she has completely embraced a pro-Palestine position going forward. And she will be one of the most pro-Palestinian members. So this is just a smear that people are doing, again, for a centrist candidate running to the right. Like, you guys got to be smarter than that. You got to be fucking smarter than that. I want perfect people as well running. But, you know, we also have to understand what's going on and ask, have people changed their mind on this? And if they have, that's good. It's the same kind of things people did to smear Jamal Bowman and then let us getting an absolute Zionist in office. And I don't know about you, chat, but my number one priority is blocking people that are supporting Israel right now. Neoliberal Ghoul says, I mean, that's what you need to understand. And by the way, if you like Deja Fox, she's a fucking clown. Like, you're a dumbass. She got her fucking... And you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to say that it's Zoran's L. The candidate that was endorsed by the left won a landslide. And they're trying to say it's Zoran's L. So
call
stop
it the
feeding into it,
Mamdani effect,
dumbass.
when young progressive Democrats warned the establishment that they were coming for their jobs. The New York City mayoral frontrunner, Zoran Mamdani, is exactly who they had in mind. A serious threat that money is pouring into his opponents, including former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who lost the primary, who just announced that he'll run as an independent. Across the country in Arizona, a special election there is one more example of the party's fight over generational change. 25-year-old progressive social media influencer Deja Fox is challenging a member of the state's Democratic political dynasty.
It is true. Her father was one of the most left-wing congresspeople in the country, the first person to endorse Bernie Sanders. But she's a political dynasty, guys. The propaganda is hilarious, dude.
Told me back at the national convention she broke through at age 16.
By the way, chat, do you think a left-winger is brought onto MSNBC during the convention, chat? You dumb fuck. You think some left-winger challenger is going to be brought on by MSNBC during the convention? You fuck piece of shit idiots supported this clown. She is a center-right candidate who was making YouTube videos.
Challenging her senator over his stand on Planned Parenthood. Let's bring in MSNBC's Vaughn Hilliard reporting on the ground in Tucson, Arizona. Joel Payne is a Democratic strategist who's a senior aide to Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. I know you spoke to Deja Fox earlier, Vaughn. I think you're at the headquarters now of her opponent, Adelita Grijalva. But tell us about this race, because this isn't the kind of thing that usually gets national attention, but a lot of folks are looking at Arizona.
Right. Democrats nationally are looking at it because Adelita Grijalva is actually back. This is the 54-year-old daughter of Raul Grijalva, who is a longtime congressman representing Southern Arizona. She's actually backed by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders.
Oh, wait. The political dynasty backed by AOC and Bernie. who supports a Green New Deal, Fair for All, etc. So what do you mean? Like, you know, it's progressive failure. And it's like, huh? And this is something that I tweeted about yesterday. I was having a fun time on Twitter yesterday, chat. I baited Ethan Klein during stream. He fell for hook, line, and sinker, and it was fucking great. And all the like Nazi pedophiles that support Ethan Klein swarmed in my replies. And still, they got failed. They still got like that's how weak they are. It's funny because they try to think they could swarm me, and it just fails on Twitter. That's how weak they are. On Twitter, they fail. Oh, man. How much weight do you think AOC and Bernie endorsements actually carry, consider that AOC and Bernie both endorse Kamala Harris? The answer to that is it depends on that's actually a good... In a presidential election, the candidates have 100% name recognition, which means that everybody knows who's running for president. That's a major candidate. And they have their own opinion of that person. In that situation, endorsements don't matter at all. Because you and I make up our own minds about Kamala Harris. What Bernie and AOC think rank very little. But when you're talking about running for Congress, where, you know, at most 25% of people are going to know what they're talking about, an endorsement could really, really help you gain that name recognition and have people kind of understand what you think very quickly. Thank you for the hype train, guys. So like when Bernie and AOC say, people are like, young progressive against this older woman, and Bernie and AOC come into the race and endorse the older woman, everybody goes like, oh, so it isn't establishment versus young progressive. Fake social media manufactured right-winger, K-Hiver, versus AOC and Bernie Sanders endorsed, right? So everybody, then it matters because it helps people understand who the race is. The other thing that matters is, does the candidate want your endorsement? If a candidate wants Bernie and AOC's endorsement, that's a good sign. It doesn't mean they're necessarily going to be good, and they could be a piece of shit. Like, it doesn't, just because somebody wants AOC's endorsement doesn't mean they're good 100% of the time. But it is an indicator of what they're trying to appeal to. They're trying to appeal to the left. If somebody has Bernie Sanders and AOC's endorsement, that means they're at least in their campaign trying to appeal to the left, which is what we want because we're on the left. Mondami momentum withered in the deserts of southern Arizona on Tuesday night. Did you guys see what they're saying? And I replied, comically stupid frame. AOC and Bernie endorsed the winner. Chicago-based national editor for the New York Times, author of Being Jewish in the Age of Trump. 69 likes for this framing. 3,400 that's a ratio. Mamma mia, that's a ratio. Holy mamma mia. Hopefully she won't be like Kirsten Sinema. Her father was one of the most left-wing representatives. So listen, I know I am in general not in favor of nepotism, except when the nepotist agrees with me. And the reason why I say that is because it's politics. I care about policies. So if you agree with me on policies and you're a nepotist, okay, that's fine. If you're going to win, good. Because this is about Congress. All right. Now, I will be more suspicious of you. I will want to make sure that you're actually, you know, good. Just because your father was the rep, if you also are going to be the rep, but you have good policies, fine by me. That's fine. But again, I think people should just be given office because of their parents. It's just like one of those things where the policies are the most important thing in politics. Nepotism should exist, but as long as it does, we should be radically making use of it. I mean, again, for me, what matters is the policies, right? That's what matters. And this was part of her victory.
Community members having real conversations about what's important. And that, you know, I stand on the shoulders of giants. And I am so thankful that my dad taught us all that this is how you do this work. This is how you get this done. And the community members having real conversations about what's important.
It was not about the individual. It was not about social media likes. It was about knocking on doors, face to face, having real conversations about what's important. I'm so grateful my dad taught us this is how you do the work. This is the reality. And she was a Bernie AOC rally at the Fight the Oligarchy tour. She campaigned with Bernie and AOC at the Tucson Fight the Oligarchy tour. This is not somebody who is like in any way bad. They're good. They're fine. They're going to be a solid progressive. They're going to be someone that we can talk to and be like, hey, be good on this. And they'll probably say yes. This is a 100% victory for us. If you like Deja Fox, you are too much on social media and you don't, you should have listened to me earlier because I told you what was going to happen here. I told you Deja fucking toast. It's the same shit with gerrymandering. Here's what I think about gerrymandering. Gerrymandering should be banned. But until gerrymandering is banned, we should use it to the maximum possible degree that we can, just like the Republicans are. I'll give you an example. It's like in football when they would aggressively jam receivers and hold them on the line. Thought that was bullshit, and I felt like that was ruining the game of football. My team wasn't doing that. They're fucking idiots. Or the tush push. I feel like the tush push is dangerous, honestly. Again, but if my team's not doing it, they're fucking stupid. Her social media game is awful. Yes, because she's actually part of her community, not good on social media. Social media is important if you want to be a national figure, but she had strong support. Can you rant about this? New York lawmakers have little appetite for mid-decade redistricting. Why is that? Why is that? Because they like the Republicans controlling. I mean, that's all you have to say. That's all you have to say. The Democrats are not gerrymandering New York, and the Republicans are gerrymandering Texas. Mike, how can we defeat Tucker Carlson when he runs for the presidency? He's a fucking weirdo. He's a nerd with a fucking bow tie. And no man wearing a bow tie for 20 years doesn't have a lot of skeletons in his closet. I'm sure there's a lot of bones stashed in the trunk, if you get my group. I'm sure him and Lindsey Graham are close friends. All right, let's go back to making fun of this video. Sorry, chat.
As well as Senator Mark Kelly and Giffords and the mayor of Tucson. But it's the 55-year-old in this race who you talked to back at the convention. She's been a reproductive rights, and she made the case to me that Congress...
Okay, I'm going to say something that's a little spicy. If somebody is just known for arguing for reproductive rights, they're usually a centrist, because that's a centrist position that you could pretend to be radically progressive on, because it doesn't challenge the economic status quo. And there are a lot of rich people support abortion rights. So it's a way of ingratiating yourself with donors, and while at the same time posturing like you're radical because you're fighting the Republicans and you're being extreme on an issue. It doesn't actually offend anyone in the status quo.
Needs Gen Z voices. She would be just the second to Maxwell Frost, the youngest female member of Congress ever. And she says that she has lived a life where she understands the policy repercussions of action out of Washington, D.C., from to Medicaid to affordable housing. I want to let you listen, though, to why she...
Those are all just mid-dem. Those are not progressive policy. Progressives don't talk about cuts. Progressives talk expansions.
Are not there. Take a listen. Why not turn to somebody who has such a history as the Grijalva family?
These seats don't belong to anyone or any one family. They belong to...
Guys, if you believe this isn't acting, you're fucking weird. Are people okay? People okay? Like, she's a fucking weirdo.
And families like mine, single moms like the one...
Bro, come on. People like mine?
That raised me have been locked out of power for too long.
They have like Instagram camera. They have like Instagram camera. What's this called where you have the soft focus in the background? Fuck, I can't remember. Bouquet? It's Bouquet? Dude, they have Instagram camera Bouquet. Like, come on.
Now, at Adelita Grijalva's headquarters, I just talked to her literally a couple minutes ago, and she made the case to me, look, she served for the last 25 years on the Tucson School Board of Education. She served for the Pima Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, and she said that her history is in her position.
By the way, is MSNBC questioning her experience? Notice, like, you could tell how this is... You could tell she's not the left-wing candidate because they're not like, ooh, not very experienced.
To be the next member of Congress from here, saying that it's important to have a history in a community, to build a coalition from 90-year-olds down to 6-year-olds, and that she has galvanized and gotten to know activists around the community like these guys here. And she told me, she goes, she would also be the first Latina woman.
This is the Bernie-endorsed candidate. Look at her field organizing room. Do you notice something? It's a lot of young 20-year-olds.
Southern Arizona, and that she would be a working mother who has school-age children. She said that the reason folks elected her father, Raul Grijalva, 11 straight terms in office, because he was he was the first member of Congress to Bernie Sanders campaign. And so really this race is
the first congressman to endorse Bernie Sanders. And they're this is who they're primarying? This is who David Hogg is primarying? All the Zionists in the country, all the freaks and all the right-wingers in the country, all the 80-something-year-olds. David Hogg goes into a district with the 5-year-old progressive, one of the more left-wing candidates in the entire country, and this is where they're spending their money. That's pretty fucking weird, isn't it? And they got fucking stomped.
About who is more progressive than the other. It's really about the generational argument two candidates are making. There are others in the race. I want to note Daniel Hernandez, who was back in 2011, was the young intern providing life-saving care to Gabby Gibbs. He is also in this race. So tonight is going to be a closely watched, but one doesn't mean just to a great deal of the folks here in Tucson, but also has the implications.
I believe I'm saying this, but I have a little bit of campaign trail envy. Vaughn, thank you for that. Joel, how do you see this race and what will it tell us?
Well, Chris, I think Vaughn's wind up there is really good because it kind of tells the story of a proxy war, I think, that's happening in Arizona. And you saw a version of it in New York with Zohran Mamdani. You're going to see it in other places all across the country over the next 18 months in the lead up to 2026. And I think it's Democrats doing soul searching and doing a gut check of, do we have, one, the right people who are able to fight for this moment, but also, are we too wedded to the status quo? And the Grijalva family has a lot to tread on there locally in Arizona. I served with Mr. Grijalva. I know he's got a strong record as progressive champion. I have no reason to think his daughter wouldn't similarly serve, in the same fashion. But there is a hunger for something new. And I think that status quo Democrats who are in office right now all across the country, they're going to be meeting this kind of energy from the grassroots all around the country. And I think it'll be very interesting to see how voters, particularly Democratic voters, respond to the choices that are going to be laid out in front.
You know, in New York, Mamdani made a name for himself with all those viral videos, walking around, talking to people. Now, take a look at part of Andrew Cuomo's newly reformed campaign.
Every day I'm going to be hitting the streets, meeting you where you are, to hear the good and the bad, problems and solutions. Because for the next few months, it's my responsibility to earn your vote. So let's do this. I'll see you out there.
Well, even as he's running against Mamdani, he seems to be taking a page out of his playbook. Is that a sign that even as he's opposing him, he's looked at what's worked? And in a sense, that's a message for all more establishment Democrats. Take a look at why some of these younger folks are gaining traction.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And I was touched by Andrew Cuomo's button-up shirt there. I'm sure that his voters or potential voters there in New York probably feel the same way. Look, I think what's interesting here is you're going to see a lot of Democrats try to adapt some of these tactics, and some of them will be well, and some of them won't. I think what's different about Mamdani versus Cuomo, Zohran Mamdani is native to the online culture, the kind of conversational, the conversation, let's just have a chat on the subway. He's native to that. Is something that is foreign to Andrew Cuomo. It's foreign to a lot of Democrats around the country who have not been born and raised in this political media environment. Frankly,
by the way, Cuomo's not even from New York City. That's the thing that's fucking hilarious. He moved in to New York City to run for mayor. I legitimately think this is going to be so fun. As long as Zohran doesn't make mistakes and let himself get trapped into this like anti-Semitism Israel shit by constantly talking about it, he stands up and says, listen, if you hate the genocide in Gaza, vote for me. If you want it to continue, vote for the other guys. You're going to keep asking me about Israel. I want to talk about New York City. Every time you hear somebody asking about Israel, ask what the f has to do with our city. That's all you have to do. It's very easy.
It's an environment that even someone at my age is being aged out of, right? It's happening very fast. And so, yes, Democrats should find ways to mimic good, but those who are native to those tactics and to that culture politically are always going to thrive better than those who are just trying to imitate maybe a little Johnny come lately.
Cuomo got scared for the Twitter ratio. He's posting his videos on Threads now. Yeah, I mean, the Israeli-controlled media. Take a look at these results. Let's take a look at these results. That was very funny. The ongoing... but hold on. Let me see if we have this. I guess they decided not to cover it on MSNBC. But the establishment won. What do you mean? Why didn't you cover it? Oh, what do you mean?
I want to be careful because you may have read there's a streamer named and he's very good, and you know he talks a lot online, and he left America for work. I think flew back. He got detained and I'm honestly I fly back tomorrow, and I'm truly so scared they're not going to know who the fuck I am. I'll show them my passport like Jamarcus Horazy. I don't even think borders should exist. And they'll be like, right this way. I'll be like, no, wait, look at this. Here's a clip where I say if Alpha was real, she'd be a member of Hamas. And they'll have to usher me into the country. I'll be like, no, my cousin's Luigi Mangione, I swear.
Bro, we are winning so fucking hard, dude. We are winning so fucking hard. Like, it's one of those things where sometimes people will ask me, like, Mike, you fight some of the scariest groups on the internet. I'm like, have you met them? The only tactic that Nazis have is being really inappropriately sexual and like try to just yell insults at you. It is actually hilarious. Like you'll say like Ethan Klein is a loser, and they'll be like, you like to suck his cock and swallow his cum, don't you, man? And it's like, what the? Like, that's what Nazis do. They're like, you want to have sex with him, don't you? You are imagining burying your head into his muscular chest, aren't you? You're thinking of being the small spoon, aren't you? That's literally what it's like. Here, I'll show you what I mean. You're like, you want Hassan's strong, manly arms to caress you from behind, don't you? Hold on, chat. Watch this video while
Or I could be doing the right thing. Am I doing the wrong thing? I'll see you guys later. I don't want to be on stream right now. So I turned off my stream and I went to lay down. I talked to her a little bit. I went to lay down and my room was right next to hers. And I was laying down, just stressed out, etc. And I heard like a really loud crash, and I looked up and there were a bunch of lights all in her room. And I didn't really hear her saying anything, but I heard this massive crash, the lights going and everything like that. I go in and turns out that she had been smoking and a little bit too close to her oxygen machine. So there's fire everywhere, and including on her. I had to put all of that out, and the fire was a little oxygen tube was going to the tank, and it's like in a cartoon, right, where the fire is going to the bomb. And so I was like, oh my god. Immediately turned off the tank. I was able to stop it from exploding or anything like that. And I had to put the fire out on the floor. It was just everywhere and on her. And she couldn't even really speak. I think it had obviously knocked the wind out of her because it knocked her out of her chair. And immediately I...
Oh, sorry, Chad. What was I saying? Yeah, conservatives like to fantasize about gay sex. Poor guy. Poor guy. Hate to see it. Feel bad for him. Whatever happened to his mom, anyway. Here's Nux. Baby wipe Hassan's come from your jaw before slandering people, my friend. You are posting a lot of Yeah, the Nux guy tried to, like, ratio me for making fun of Ethan Klein. After 6 straight months of crashing out and defaming Hassan, the H3 podcast is now 10,000 concurrent viewers smaller than Hassan the Hun stream. This after the month of July was the lowest ever viewership for the H3 podcast. On YouTube alone, Hassan had 5 times the views. Now, Ethan Klein saw this post and he posted it on his Instagram, malding about it. So the lolicon Nazis jumped in to like try to ratio me with this. And I just laughed at him and said, you're an Israeli lolicon enjoyer, gone to any recent funerals. Maybe wipe Hassan's cum from your jaw before slandering people, my friend. Why are you rushing to defend Ethan Klein? Why are you rushing to defend Ethan Klein? You're slobbing on the nom of a Zionist? Zionist. Oh, man. And so I said, you're posting a lot of homosexual erotic fantasy in my replies and not spending any time denying that you jerk off to lolicon. I deny it. I've denied it for months of getting slandered from your terrorist supporter buds. Do you deny inciting your audience to physically attack other content creators? Yeah, I never said that. I never said that. By the way, I wouldn't incite someone else. If I wanted to commit some sort of act of violence, I would do it myself, but I don't. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then I just got a screenshot of his content. My chat forced me to watch a lewd trolling VTuber, and I feel like a sussy baka. Look at this fuck guy. Sus, please make it stop. My chat forced me to watch a hyperactive VTuber and I didn't simp. Bro, this is his content. You have to have 80 IQ. You said I jerk off to Lolicon with no evidence. The evidence is right here, bitch. The evidence is right here. Fucking YouTube channel. Bro is always thinking of Hassan's cum. Oh, God, dude. Anyway, so that was a lot of fun. I really love the Nazis because they have literally nothing. They just make up fanfic, including Ethan Klein's fanfic. Oh, shit. We should talk about that. I forgot about that. That made me laugh so hard. Hold on. It's so funny that you know these guys are so scared of me that they have never actually watched one of my streams. That's the thing that's hilarious. All they could try to do is get clips of me laughing or talking loudly. That's it. Hold on. Let me see if we could find it here. Did you accuse Asmongold of killing his mom? I mean, listen, I think it was a combination of the situation. Oh, wait. The situation of, you know, the parasite infections in the house, the vermin causing like damage to the lungs, and also, you know, like pre-existing conditions.
Okay, well,
I'm not a big nature guy.
I like bonobos. Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. I don't give a shit about those guys. Hold on. Wait, here it is. Mike from PA is caught here raging against the inevitability of dying alone. He is a 40-year-old single, unkempt, and physically repulsive loser. That is why he keeps DMing AB unhinged shit like this, continually over a year. AB has never responded, by the way. Don't tell Mike we took 18 days off in June. They did it. They took 7 days. 7 days off in June, 7 days off in July. And it's very funny that Ethan Klein talks about personal appearance. It's very funny. Like, bro, have you seen yourself? Bro, have you seen yourself? Bro, have you seen yourself? Monthly gained views for the H3 podcast. This is when they ended the stream with Hassan. It's like one of those things that's very funny because I love fighting with Ethan Klein because it's just like he's only talking to the Nazis he's trying to cultivate in his audience. He's only talking to Asmongold and Destiny fans. And they know it's not true too. They're just trying to attack me because I'm a average looking guy. So they're incels. And so they project that on other people. If you are a well-adjusted person, especially if you have left-wing politics like myself, you're going to have no problems getting a girlfriend or a partner. The only reason you guys have problems is because your personalities are shit. Women do not like you. Come on, Mike, you're above average. I mean, honestly, this is men that are talking, okay? You know, I don't even need to claim to be good looking. It doesn't matter. Oh man, I fucking love it. And I did send it to Ethan. Make sure you show this to Ethan. Only 7 million views in June. Damn. And he did. AB sent it to him. They danced on my strings. He did exactly as he was told. There's something to be said about the way they literally 100% of the time, this moron just points at things and acts angry at they're being said without even trying to refute. The H3 podcast with 10 crew is less popular than Hassan Piker, who is one person. I admit I did send it to AB because I wanted to prove he's constantly trolling the internet to send things to Ethan. He's a good dog. Also, they only took a week off in June. Ethan is lying. I did what you asked, dumbass. I have another ask, AB. Quit your job, bitch.
Ethan's suing me. Ethan's stalking me. Ethan's all this. Yup! I'm doing all that. I'll see you soon. If you thought I was joking.
What is with his neck skin?
I hope those 3 copyright lawsuits.
What is with his neck skin? What's going on there? Like, what is that?
If you thought I was joking, I'll see you soon. If you thought I'll see you soon.
Do you see that? Hold on, it's hard to get a
If you
pause.
thought I was,
there it is. Come on.
I'll see you soon. If you thought I was joking,
Hold on.
I'll see.
There, you see that? Fuck is that? My dad didn't get anything like that till he was in his 70s. The fuck is that? He's got the Trump nussy starting. Did you see he went to the doctor recently and the doctor said he was in the bottom percentile in muscle mass? Like, what is that?
See you soon. If you thought I was joking,
New video of Ethan in his neck. Honestly, this looks better. This looks better. He does look like he is wearing someone else's skin. That is true.
I hope those 3 copyright lawsuits put that thought to rest, because every one of you motherfuckers that I said I'm coming for, enjoy the last moments of peace you have out there to I'm going to say it. Noah Sampson. I didn't forget about you,
Remember
scum.
when he said he was going to sue Noah Sampson and then he never did? It's so funny that Ethan Klein's lawyer is an illegal West Bank settler and a Malaysian fugitive who committed one of the biggest acts of corruption in Malaysian history. Those are his attorneys. Honestly, it feels like, how did he meet that? I want to know, Ethan, why did you pick your attorney? Tell us the story of why you picked your attorney. Why did you pick a Malaysian fugitive from the law to be your attorney? Kind of sounds like an intelligence asset.
I'm back. Daddy's watching and taking notes. And also, there's someone else special out there that thinks that they're safe and sound. Bad empanada, you're not. I promise you I'd find you. And I promise.
Ethan Klein, we saw how you acted on Rodeo Drive. I feel like, let's watch this.
As a promise. Hiring a private investigator, a local private investigator to find out where he is, reaching out to advocacy groups and such like that. I think you can go to jail for being like anti-Semitic in Argentina. My point is, there's no problem. There's certain lines you cross, and you cross it with the wrong people, and that's what you did. Just wait. Just wait.
I'm going to do a lot more shopping on Rodeo Drive, chat. I'm going to be doing a lot more of my shopping on Rodeo Drive. A lot more. Does it feel good to be hated literally everywhere you go now? Wow, Jesus. Bad Empanada's going hard. Damn. I love Bad Empanada. He's the best. He's literally never done anything wrong. He's never done anything wrong that I'm aware of. So, huge W, chat. Oh, I didn't even show you the results for this election. Hold on. Someone bring me like good Deja Fox. Where's the result? I need the results. God, I need to. Oh my God, I forgot to do Firefox because I was too busy yesterday. I wasn't on the computer at all after stream. Can we just get the numbers? Can we just get the numbers? Oh my God, dude. Oh my God, dude. The ads, man. Today's the day. Firefox is happening. I will hold you that and remind you we have a meeting. Yeah. Is today Wednesday? Okay, yeah. So here we have 77% of the votes in, 62% Bernie and AOC endorsed candidate. So again, it's not about age. It's about policy. And that's what the New York Times and MSNBC and all these dumb fucks don't want to have you admit.
And the Democratic nominee for New York City mayor.
They are afraid.
Turning now to a major development in the race for New York City mayor. Coming just 3 weeks after 33-year-old Democratic Socialist Zoran Mamdani stunned his party with a convincing primary victory over former Governor Andrew Cuomo. But Cuomo is backing down, announcing he'll stay in the race as an independent. In a video announcement, Cuomo clear shot at his opponent while leaning into the same issue.
You retweeting this made it blow up? Yeah, I know. It's called
affordability.
Being clouded. You're welcome. The verdict is in. Even from her own circles, Deja Fox didn't pass the vibe check for most progressives. This is an outright rejection of right-wing Democrats with Gen Z flavoring. Even stealing an AOC ad bar for bar couldn't get this Kamala Harris lackey close to winning. We love our mods, our law enforcement.
Campaign video in AOC made history with her viral campaign video in 2018. Now Gen Z activist and influencer Deja Fox might be copying AOC's whole.
I didn't pick
women like me aren't supposed to run for office.
Picked me.
I wasn't born to a wealthy or powerful family.
A free lunch kid.
Mother from Puerto Rico, dad from the South Bronx.
If you didn't already, Deja Fox is running to become the first Gen Z congresswoman ever.
Bro,
front and center on her website is a video that looks very similar.
This is like watching Ethan Klein's Vape Nash video when he copied that bar for bar. Remember when he plagiarized that entire thing? Who did he plagiarize that from? I can't remember who Ethan Klein plagiarized that from. You guys remember? Tim and Eric with Tim Heidecker? Oh, okay. That's what I thought. Yeah.
To AOC's initial. Here's the real team.
Filthy
AOC
Frank?
did not endorse her.
That could be
AOC endorsed
Frank,
Adelita Grijalva, Deja's #1 opponent and the daughter of the deceased. One of the key differences between Deja and AOC is that AOC ran on policy.
What the Bronx and Queens needs is Medicare for all, tuition-free public college, a federal jobs guarantee.
In Deja, a lot of people say her campaign is too hard on her past and not enough on policy.
I was raised by a single mom. Tucson, that raised me like the single mom who worked hard as someone delivering flowers for a florist and cleaning houses.
I mean, you would think that somebody who has little to no experience in politics, that they would lean and lead with their policy positions. For Deja, that's just not the case. You think Deja will win in 2 days, or will her dreams just never become a reality?
She looks like a Gen X version of Harris. I mean, pathetic.
I'm running for mayor of New York City, and I promise to fight you. Other candidates say they'll fight for you. I will fight you. Taxes, ordinances, city budget, who gives a shit? I'm gonna kick your ass. I grew up in this community. I played in this park. I hated those kids. In fact, come over here. New York needs someone to roll up their sleeves and kick its ass.
He told me he was gonna put me in a coma. I mean, Bob Donnie ain't doing that kind of shit.
New York is the best city in the world, and it's always treated me like dirt. That's why I'm gonna kick New York's ass as mayor.
I don't know. At least he's not a career politician.
Vote for me.
At least he's not a career politician. Another huge W for us. And this is the kind of thing that you need to understand. What you have to understand is that the left is smarter now. And with influencers like myself and Hassan and other people that can sniff this kind of shit out, it's not going to work. You can't just be Gen Z, but right wing. Okay, that's not what people are voting for. They're not voting on generational lines. They're voting for policy. And that is what about millennials and to a lesser extent, Gen Z. We care about your policies. That's what we care about. We don't care about how young you are or whether you are you know, Gen Z or a millennial or a single mother or whatever the fuck. If you support right-wing policy, we don't want you. Yeah, this is really, really old. 13 years ago. And by the way, a lot of people had bad taste 13 years ago. But she has the best platform on Israel according to AIPAC. So, like, I mean, what are you trying to do here? It's not like Deja Fox is to her left on Palestine.
I am Andrew Cuomo, and I am making this video to inform every...
Okay, thank you guys. I'm not quite in that mental state yet. I appreciate you explaining how she's acting as a progressive. As from Northern California, her ads were popping up my feed. I found it weird. All her ads are basically about her being the youngest person running without really any policy proposals. That's how you know she's not a progressive. A progressive leans with progressive policy. A left-winger leads with left-wing policy. If a candidate is not leading with policy, they're not left-wing. That's how you could actually tell the difference, because left-wingers are weirdly autistic policy free. So they're always talking about that kind of shit. Whereas disgusting, corrupt careerists are always talking about their biography to humanize themselves. Thoughts on Zoran's capitulation on globalizing Intifada? He didn't capitulate. He didn't capitulate. He literally didn't. He has had exactly the same position. Now, I hope he doesn't apologize or anything. That would be crazy.
And a second day of meetings set to begin between the New York City Democratic mayoral candidate Zoran Mandani and more than 100 executives. It's been organized by the Viewership for New York City. The group planning.
Okay, by the way, when people say stuff like inexperienced, it means nothing. Obama was only a senator for 2 years when he was sworn in as president. He had literally nothing to his name but voting present in the Illinois legislature. Who gives a shit? And people love Obama. It's a meaningless thing to say when you can't actually argue a point. Mamdani nets record fundraising haul while Adams and Cuomo strike out on matching. In the weeks before and after his decisive campaign raised more than $802,000 and won another $1 million at public matching dollars. Queens Assembly member Zoran Mamdani has been reaping the spoils of his blowout Democratic primary victory, raking in a huge wave of campaign donations and securing another $1 million in public funds for the general election. Mayor Eric Adams, who skipped the primary in the wake of a federal criminal indictment and extraordinary cancellation by the department, lost out his continued plea for public dollars as an independent candidate with just 16 weeks left. And the Democrat Mamdani soundly defeated former Governor Andrew Cuomo, also got no matching funds because he didn't ask for any. Cuomo stopped raising funds in May after maxing out on the nearly $8 million primary spending cap. He lost to Mamdani by 12 points in June, who went for weeks for not clarifying whether he intended to run in November on a third-party line he'd set up. Mamdani saw a tsunami of donations in the week after a decisive win over Cuomo to become the Democratic nominee in a city where Republicans and independents make up 17% of registered voters. The primary win puts him in the driver's seat to capture City Hall this fall. His fundraising began catching fire back in the spring when his social media postings began drawing attention and triggering waves of mostly small donations needed to attract public subsidies. Comrade Nimska, I hope you feel better, man. Mamdani's June to July halal is his biggest score today, included 69 donations of $2,100, the maximum allowed in the public financing. totaling more than $144,000. Mamdani made a point of highlighting the extraordinary number of small donations he's received and criticizing Cuomo for the tens of millions of dollars in outside money wealthy donors have spent promoting him. The Paid Finance program provides $8 for every $1 donated to a candidate by a New York City resident, $50. The $1 million in matching the board awarded Mamdani Tuesday brought his tally to date to $8.1 million, making him the biggest recipient of public funds of any mayoral candidate this election. Adams, on the other hand, has so far come up empty in his pursuit of public funds. Part of the reason why Zoran is going to win is because the system in New York is set up so that people could vote for who they want to vote for without fear of being a spoiler. And there's public matching funds to counter the influence of big money. And there was a bill called H.R. 1 for the Act that was in Congress during Biden's trifecta. And it would have done a lot of really good things, like providing for federal matching funds for congressional races. It would have banned political gerrymandering and a whole bunch of other fixes to make our elections more secure and more fair, including early voting and vote by mail, and ensuring that our society, that everybody who wanted to participate in our democracy could do so. The Democrats didn't pass it. The Democrats would give it the opportunity to prevent partisan gerrymandering, didn't do it.
15% of New Yorkers voted in the June primary. The general election is in November, and I am in it to win it. My opponent, Mr. Mamdani, offers slick slogans, but no real solution. We need a city with lower rent, safer streets, where buying your first home is once again possible, where child care bankrupt. That's the New York City we know. That's the one that is still possible.
The Mamdani campaign quickly responding to Cuomo's candidacy with a statement reading in part, "He's not fighting for you. He's running only to repair his soiled reputation." Billionaire Trump donors who fund his campaign beat Cuomo once, together beat him. And there are now 5 candidates running in November, in addition to Mamdani. Cuomo will also Republican Curtis Sliwa and 2 other independents, including embattled incumbent Mayor Eric Adams. And joining me now to break down the field of candidates is national political reporter Kornacki at the big board. Hey there, Steve. We've a crowded field. Everyone says they're staying in until November, but what are the candidates looking at?
Yeah, Gabe. So it's interesting. You got here the 3 major general election opponents for Mamdani right now: Andrew Cuomo, Eric Adams, the current mayor, Curtis Sliwa, the Republican nominee. And this is what they're saying to each other: no, you drop out. Because here's the dynamic each one of them is looking at. And there is a point of agreement between the 3 of them. And the point of agreement that Adams, Sliwa, and Cuomo all have is that Mamdani can be beaten, or that if he's going to be beaten, it would be by a united front of opposition behind one alternative, a one-on-one race. And they agree if it's a split Mamdani. Where they disagree is on who that one candidate should be, because they each look at each other and they say they're too weak to beat Mamdani. So, for instance, Cuomo, who says, as you say, he's staying in the race. Now, Cuomo, what his opponents see, what Adams and Sliwa see when they look at him, is a candidate who just got beat by Mamdani in the primary after starting that race as the overwhelming favorite. They see somebody with the baggage of scandal, resigned as governor 4 years ago amidst controversy. They see somebody still unpopular with New York City voters. The most recent public poll on this had Cuomo's unfavorable rating at 47% with New York City voters. His favorable rating lower than that, just 41%. So if you're Adams and you're Sliwa and you're looking at Cuomo saying he's staying in this race, they're looking at him saying, hey, you had your shot at Mamdani. You proved.
Did I not predict this exactly? I predicted this exactly, did I not? Did I not tell you that centrist Democrats would ally with Republicans in order to stop the left? Did I not tell you that this exact thing would happen? And I said it. This is why I said I'm not voting for Kamala Harris without concrete promises. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, she'd be working for a Republican. She'd be telling you how, oh man, I don't know, Tucker Carlson isn't that bad. That's what she would be doing if Bernie Sanders or AOC is the nominee. She'd be running over there to endorse Tucker Carlson. Everyone is also out to get you too. That's why your race failed and you had to be removed from your ticket. I won the primary. What are you talking about? I literally won the primary. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What do you mean? You could like just go to my Ballotopedia. You can see I won. I won the primary. Like, what do you mean? I won the Democratic primary. Like, it's right here. I literally won. I was successful in his write-in campaign during last month's primary election. Hire a Democrat was originally to appear on the primary ballot in his attempt to challenge Republican incumbent Simmons. It's right there. I won. I won the primary via write-in vote. Right there. And then I was on the ballot again. And what's next? What's your next thing? Also, just a painter. Oh, we got to find more about this. We got to find out more about this guy. Oh, yes. Thank God. We got your real voice. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, monster on the loose.
Look at this bald ass.
I'm better.
Yo! Yo!
Yeah, monster on the loose.
I'm better.
Between you and me,
Yeah,
my hair is thinning.
oh, Your Highness, I'm not that noticeable. Bald!
All right.
Holy bro, where are you from? Let's meet up. You and me, just a painter. Oh, holy shit, dude. Good luck on the streams, man. Hopefully you can support your kid one day. Holy shit, that's awesome, man. Holy fuck. That's amazing. When I was in my 20s, I won the Democratic primary with an unbelievable write-in campaign. What were you doing? Being bad at Overwatch? Holy fuck. Oh, hey, I found your Twitter. Let's see here. I'm the first view this time at Hassan the Hun at the Omni. Oh my God, this is the saddest shit I've ever seen. Holy fuck. I never took the bar because I got into politics instead. This is pretty common if you don't want to, if any people graduate law school and then don't go to the bar. They don't take the bar because they decide to do something else. Anything else? Hey, what did Destiny graduate from, if you don't mind me asking? Discord University? I'm gonna find you. Where in Pittsburgh are you from? What neighborhood? I lived all over the city. Where in Pittsburgh are you from? You strike me as not actually in Pittsburgh kind of guy. You sound you sound more like a Monroeville guy to me than an actual guy. You're one of those people who say you're from Pittsburgh, but you don't really strike me as somebody being from. Even that's so funny. Legal Mindset debunked your lawyer thing. Didn't you see that? Didn't you see Legal Mindset accidentally debunked your lawyer thing? Oops. Somebody link me that. Just a painter. Let's watch more clips. You lost? One of your top clips is you losing? You get 2 kills and lose, and that's your top fucking clip? Check his log now. Wait, you're gonna have to at me again. At him again. I want to find more. 170 views, man. Jesus Christ. Orbiting Destiny for 10 years. That's just sad, man. Holy shit. Let me know when and how you sell since the slurp Hassan to do it. Destiny literally wants to slurp Hassan. That's why he's been upset for 6 fucking years. That you're a doxing loser. Who did I dox? By the way, how do you know I ran for office? Met you? Point yourself out to me the next time we meet. Next time we meet, Just a Painter. Just say, hey, I'm Just a Painter. Next time we meet, I'll see you. I'll see you soon. He's been watching since 2020. That's the oldest? Is it Just a Painter reference to Adolf Hitler? Yeah, I think so. I think he's Destiny said Obama by Park used it in schools all around the world. Then he said he wasn't in office, so was it their fault or not? WTF. I'm both a lawyer, possess a law degree, and an attorney, a lawyer who registered to practice by bar. Let me clarify. I mean, Asmongold is right when he said you need to be a lawyer to understand that the object held by Hassan appeared to be a gun, which is a fact. It's actually a interpretation of the fact. That's actually not a fact in the sense of that's your interpretation that would require it to be held by. It's not a fact by matter of law, you incompetent. My name is literally a reference to Hitler, and I hate your stance in Israel guy. Yeah, I know. It's very funny. He's talking about classmates now. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry, chat, for this. It's rare that a DGGer actually tries to come in here and talk. It's pretty rare, actually. Most of the time, they are very scared to do so. I guess that means you slurp Ethan Klein because you never stop talking about him. Huh? I never stopped talking about Ethan Klein?
From PA, who is as hideous on the inside.
Like, this is me? This is me never stopping
Mike
talking?
from PA, to me, is a full-on grifter. One day I'm gonna...
Gotta be honest, I don't tell me.
Mike from PA.
Here is him browsing my Ballotopedia.
Mike from PA, 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 Mike from PA,
Mike from PA,
Mike from PA, Mike from PA, Mike from PA, Mike from PA,
Mike from PA,
Mike from PA.
Like, come on, guys, come on. Holy shit, man. That city gets them all gassed up that they march in here thinking they're gonna get sick owns. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's very funny to be like, you ran for office 11 years ago and you won the primary, but you didn't win the general. No Democratic challenger won in 2014 and the legislative level. It was a wipeout because Barack Obama was so unpopular. You didn't win either. Yeah, man, that's true. That's true. Neither did Mark Gudgel or whoever Destiny endorsed in Omaha, but he finished 5. Like, what are you talking about, man? Okay, hold on. Let's see. We got more. Wait, his sound. Oh no! Oh no! He deleted everything. He deleted everything. Next time, I would probably not come in here on your Twitch account and then intimidated by me looking at Twitch account. I think one of the things that separates me from you is I'm a man and you're a boy. You would be scared if you were me. That's what's different between me and you. Anyway, anything else? Let's get back to talking about real shit. The only DGGer who had the balls to come in here and within 10 minutes, their entire account is gone. Matty Thighs, thanks for the 5 tier 1s. All right, let's keep going. Let's watch this Memdami content we were covering. More people search for Zoran's Wikipedia page on election night than on election night for Kamala Harris on November 6th. Why does Pete suck? I know he's a centrist consultant with horrendous policy. I think my way to answer your question is I believe in progressive and socialist politics. And so I want candidates who believe in progressive and socialist politics. And I have no alliance or loyalty to neoliberalism. I consider neoliberalism to be the cause of all of our problems that are facing humanity right now. And that somebody like Pete Buttigieg is just as much of my enemy as somebody like Donald Trump. Just because you and your friends get fooled because he is a nebbish little nerd doesn't mean that I should also get fooled. That's embarrassing for you. That's my answer to that. That's embarrassing. You like Pete?
You couldn't get it done. So then shift here from Cuomo to Eric Adams. What is a Cuomo? What does Sliwa see when they look at Eric Adams? Incumbent mayor, somebody who got elected to this job 4 years ago, who says, hey, there's some stats last week showing violent crime coming down. He thinks he's got a record to run on. For Cuomo and your Sliwa, here's what you see. The most recent poll, favorable, unfavorable for Adams, 68 unfavorable. His favorable just 19%. Remember the indictment on federal corruption charges, then the Trump DOJ saying they're dropping the case. Enormous political baggage for Eric Adams. So your Sliwa, your Cuomo, you're saying, well, that guy can't beat Mamdani. And then this action shifts over here to Curtis Sliwa. Now, Curtis Sliwa is a familiar figure to New Yorkers. He started the Guardian Angels group in the high crime 1980s. He's been a ubiquitous figure in media in New York City for decades now. But Sliwa's got a record here. He was the Republican nominee 4 years ago, just like he's the Republican nominee now. He ran against Adams 4 years ago. How did he do? He got 28% of the vote. He lost to Eric Adams by more than 40 points. So Adams and Cuomo are looking at Sliwa and saying, Republican, they almost never win in New York City. And this guy already tried and got trounced. So why would I, Andrew Cuomo, why would I, Eric Adams, Sliwa? Each one of them brings a chunk of support into this general election, but none of them with a big, broad enough coalition and a accomplished enough track record to make the other say, I'll back off, you take a shot at it. And as long as that dynamic persists, Gabe, the winner in this situation is the Democratic nominee, Zoran Mamdani.
Never a dull day in New York City. Steve Kornacki.
Thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live.
All right, so I want to show you an example of... So Zoran has never said globalized intifada. He has always said, listen, I wouldn't use it. I'm not here to police speech. That's always been what he says. So unless he says, I'm going to start policing speech, there is no change. And this is just interpretations of what he said. Unless you could show me on video him condemning pro-Palestinian. This is literally just a source try to throw shit on Zoran to blunt his left-wing momentum.
And the Democratic nominee for New York City mayor says he will discourage people from using the term globalize the intifada. Zoran Mamdani has faced criticism on the campaign trail for previously refusing to condemn the phrase, which has been seen as a call to violence against Jews. Mamdani's shifting language comes amid a general election battle against Mayor Eric Adams and former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who are running as independents, and the Republican nominee, Curtis Sliwa. Willie.
New York Times reporter covering Wall Street, Lauren Hirsch, is following the latest on all this. She joins us now, also with us, president of the National Action Network and the host of MSNBC's Politics Nation, Reverend Al Sharpton. Good morning to you both. So, Lauren, let's pick up on this meeting with Zoran Mamdani yesterday. Business leaders in New York City, some heavyweights in the room, some who decided not to attend. Jamie Dimon had a scheduling conflict. What did they hear from him? Did he sort of assuage their suspicions at all about him? What was it like in the room?
They heard a really charming, affable guy who was well prepared. He made jokes, he made self-deprecating jokes, but they did not hear someone who changed his policies. And so if you had concern...
I mean, what are you guys talking about here? Stop falling for ops. Stop falling for fucking ops, you dumb pieces of shit. Like, there's some people who are so eager to be wreckers, they fall for ops. And then you have the Wall Street Journal reporter saying he didn't change anything. Stop falling for ops and be smarter. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, Jesus Christ. Stop trying to be a wrecker instantly because the New York Times said some fucking, like, quote from a source. Dumbass. Jesus.
About his economic policies going into the meeting, you had the same concerns going out. People, the charm, and his disarming nature was enough to calm people a little bit. For others, if he was very much sticking to his policies, further enraged them. So there was a bit of a division coming out of the room in terms of response. But in the room, it was mostly cordial. It was mostly pleasant. There was one pointed question effectively saying, how can you tell us you're not going to drive business out of New York? And he danced around it a bit. I think his message was, I believe strongly in my policies, but I don't think they're bad for. I think many of the business leaders saw a little bit of a disconnect in how you connect those two dots. But overall, they found a nice, charming guy, and they were, they appreciated the fact that he wanted to meet with them.
This is a guy who he's not trying to run from who he is, which he says, I'm a democratic socialist. He said just a week ago, billionaires should not exist.
Yeah.
When asked, there were some billionaires in the room. He said, I'm going to tax you more. That's true. But I believe it's the best thing for our city. What about the story that Mika just walked us through, where he said, okay, I won't use the phrase globalize the intifada, and I will discourage others from using it, almost sort of grudgingly, because he's refused to say, refused to condemn that language even as recently in the last few days.
Right. So that answer came after he was being pushed on Israel and his views on that by the CEO of Pfizer. And my understanding is it was a fairly long before he got to it. Some people were very happy to hear that. And as I said, some people, it's never going to be enough. So others weren't mollified. And by the way, one person I spoke to didn't even hear it. It was interesting. I called him back. I was like, did he say this? He was like, no, I didn't hear it. So I think there is an element of almost hearing what you want to hear as you go.
Man, it's almost like he didn't say that. It's almost like it's total bullshit. Stop falling for fucking ops from right-wing CEOs. Are you stupid? He didn't change anything. Shut the fuck up. One of the most frustrating things about politics is you have people who are obsessed with electoral politics, and then they get exactly the type of candidate they want, and then they just fall for every op they see on social media, and they start crashing out immediately. They start seeing people folding and surrendering and giving in to a candidate who's winning, and their reaction is, oh my God, I can't believe he's letting people bend the knee to him. And it's like, yes. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? He's not going to ally with Richie Torres. He's not going to betray Palestinians. What the fuck are you talking about? Are you okay? Brett's take was terrible. I'm sorry. His take is not good. He is, I don't know if he is like hypersensitive or he's got like PTSD or something. But that's not real. When the Queen's machine is saying, oh, we endorse the Democratic nominee and we bend the knee, that's not Zoran doing anything but being the winner. He won the primary. So Democrats, if they don't endorse him, are not supporting the Democrat, which I don't know if you know is against the rules of the Democratic Party. If you are a Democratic Party machine, if you hold a position within the Democratic Party, you are not allowed to speak against the Democratic Party candidate. That's how it works. So they have to do that. And you know what? The Democratic Party machine is forced to support him. That's why he ran in the primary and won it. That was the whole point. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It is, I'm sorry, you're not used to winning. I don't know what to say.
It'll be interesting to watch if he does, you know, maybe.
Here's what matters, you fucking liberal, his position on the policies. If he's changing his position on the policies, I'll yell at him. He hasn't changed any positions on policies. He said, I would arrest Netanyahu. I would not go to Israel. I do not support Israel as a Jewish state, but only as a state with equal rights. He hasn't changed a goddamn thing. He supports BDS. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? I want him to be mean to people. I want him to go up and be mean to people in their face and be unhinged. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's my job. His job is to be the happy warrior who goes around and is pleasant and makes people like him. His job is not to be a schizo running around pissing people off by being unhinged. That's my fucking job. Like, come on, man. Like, get your shit together. And I know the people that are literally ready to primary Richie Torres. Richie Torres showing up at fucking Queen's Machine endorsement of Zoran because they have to do it and being scared shitless of him is a sign of winning. I didn't see Zoran endorse Richie Torres. I didn't see Zoran say, I like Richie Torres and I want him to win again. All the people that worked on Zoran's campaign lining up primaries against Richie. He's scared, fucking scared. This is what it looks like when you win. If you don't like winning, run as a fucking independent candidate, get your 3%, fucking lose, the biggest Zionist come into power. Just like when we protested Jamal Bowman and Cori Bush and we got mega Zionists. Congratulations on that impressive win. This is what politics is like. If you don't like electoral politics, I suggest just doing something else. I highly suggest it for your own mental health. When you win, this is what it looks like. People bend the knee to you. That's exactly what he hasn't changed himself on any position. If you thought he didn't go far enough in the primary, and you're trying to like smuggle that opinion into something different, you're actually just hurting the movement, which is, I want you to understand, Palestine will be free when America stops giving billions to Israel. We don't need to go in there and invade Israel and be the saviors. We need America to stop supporting Israel. And politicians like Zoran winning makes that position much more likely to come to fruition. North Vietnam didn't need us to invade South Vietnam to win. They just needed us to pull out. And when we pulled out, Vietnam was able to reunify itself under the communist banner. The United States of America needs to pull out. And as the people in the imperial core, our job is to get the people that are going to pull us out of these conflicts in power. And so that is what your focus should be on. And if you don't agree with me, good luck with whatever you're trying to do. Did you see what happened to Palestine Action in the UK? They threw some paint on a single airplane and they got declared a terrorist group. And now you're being arrested in the UK if you say support Palestine Action. Do you have a plan to fight FBI? Do you have a plan to fight law enforcement suppression? Law enforcement suppression is a hell of a lot more likely with Andrew Cuomo in office, with Eric Adams in office. God damn, get your shit together. Realize what's happening. Do you think Michael Blake is a good candidate to primary Richie Torres? I mean, he clearly wants to. I'm not being nice about this because it's kind of embarrassing, quite frankly. And it's annoying as fuck. I'm sorry, but it is. You're not doing anything. The way that Zoran loses is a bunch of people online blunt his online social media momentum, cutting off his fundraising, and they lower the energy behind him. And then billionaire money is able to convince enough moderate Democrats to vote for Cuomo or Adams. That's the only way he loses. You're helping the only path of keeping Andrew Cuomo or Eric Adams in office. Now, if Zoran abandons the Palestinian movement, then I won't care if he loses. But that never happened. You're just to find a reason so you could do wrecker shit. That's literally what you're doing. With me, I know what you're doing. Come on. Come the fuck.
Moderating on this, are there other positions he also takes more of a slightly centrist tact as he heads to a general election? That would obviously be a play that we've seen from other progressives. Also of note, he really praised Boston Mayor Michelle Wu, who's wildly popular in Boston, and distanced himself from Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, decidedly less so, Rev. But he also enters a race here where the setup seems to really favor him. First of all, anytime you have a D next to your name, you're the Democratic nominee.
He didn't take any centrist position. He hasn't changed his position on a goddamn thing. He defended the people saying globalize the intifada. He said he wouldn't police language. He said he wouldn't condemn it. He said he would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu, which he can do because of the concept known as universal jurisdiction. Any government or any police department that holds sovereign power can arrest anybody on a ICC warrant under the doctrine of universal jurisdiction. Go ahead and look it up. So when he says, I will arrest Benjamin Netanyahu, that is a real threat. That is a real fucking threat. Universal jurisdiction is a legal principle that allows states or international organizations to claim criminal jurisdiction over an accused person regardless of where the alleged crime was committed and irrespective of the accused nationality, country of residence, or any other connection to the prosecuting entity. Opponents such as U.S. diplomat Harry Kissinger argue that universal jurisdiction is a breach of each state's sovereignty. No shit, he's against. So it's a real fucking threat. Now, and if you want to know what's really going to fuck us up, it's people not knowing who the real enemies are. Zoran is going to be facing unbelievable resistance from the NYPD. He's going to be facing blue flu. He's going to be facing all sorts of criminal activity by the cops to try to intimidate him and make people feel unsafe. He's going to be facing the entire corporate media that's creating propaganda against him. He's going to be facing the establishment Democrats. And he is good on our issues, and he's a socialist, advocating for socialism, advocating for socialist organizations, a card-carrying member, and you're coming in here saying, oh my God, somebody from Queens endorsed him. Lock in! Lock the fuck in!
A deep blue city, that is helpful. But if Andrew Cuomo and Eric Adams...
It's absolutely outrageous and so frustrating. Palestinians are facing goddamn genocide. We have someone who is objectively pro-Palestine and vocal being attacked right now because he refuses to condemn globalize the intifada. And you're going like, I don't know. It looks like I need to find a way to get I need to get 200 likes on Twitter trashing the guy. Fuck off. What the fuck are you doing? Get your shit together.
Just in this race and are both vying for the same sort of...
I'm not nice about it. I'm not pussyfooting about it. You're doing wrecker shit and it's embarrassing. Fucking embarrassing.
Interest vote, they split. That only helps Mamdani.
No, I think the fact that Andrew Cuomo has now announced he's in the race, which I, among others, asked him not to. Let's have a one-on-one. The fact that he's in makes it highly unlikely that Zoran does not win. I talked to some people last night who were part of the partnership meeting, and they were relatively
impressed. Chill. This is really not something to argue about. I mean, like, listen, I am a contentious person, but if you're going to be a fucking asshole about Zoran when he's being attacked by the Republicans and the Democrats in a unified manner, there's billionaire. Why do you think the billionaires are spending money against him? No, because he's secretly a sellout. It's all a game. It's all a game. See, he's just secretly a sellout. They're all spending all this money. The Democrats are not endorsing him because it's all a game, man. They're just trying to trap you in the Democrats. Are you hearing yourself? Are you hearing your fucking self?
With Zoran, they had.
Wow, we can't criticize your celebrity, bro. You're a Twitch streamer. You're a Twitch streamer, bro.
Very serious concerns.
Back to the Discords with you.
And they were impressed. He's very charismatic, which we found. He came twice to National Action Network, and some of them agreed with him, some disagreed. But they say he's a lot more personable and more informed than they thought. I've said to him when he's come met with us,
Like at the end of the days, these are the same Democrats you've done for years with your votes. I didn't even vote for Kamala in 2024. What are you talking about? I have a lot more going on. Okay, man. You are the most pure revolutionary.
In my early days, you would say things or identify with people that say things that you should just say right. That is not right.
AOC, Zoran, they're the real problem. What would be better is if we had Cuomo in there. You are uncompromised. You figured it out. You figured out the trick. The secret trick is being an ultra. The secret trick is posturing on social media. Figured it out. For it to be infighting, we have to be on the same side. He's on the side of Cuomo. He's a useful idiot for Cuomo. We have to be on the same side. You're not on my side. Cuomo supporter. Zionist.
That is not what I meant. He went as far as saying he will tell people not to say it again. but you've got to say it's not right. It's not right to talk about things or say things that is morally wrong. So I think that he will, in many ways, not give up what he believes, but then he has to be judged by what he believes, and I think he's willing to take the penalty for that.
So Laura, in a similar vein, the people you talk to in that room, you know, who might be more inclined to support an Adams or a Cuomo, what's their view on the two of them both staying in and complicating things?
Not happy. I mean, a lot of Wall Street donors have really been pushing one.
Here's what I'm going to say. If you are dumb enough all for a Wall Street Journal op, and you immediately rush to start attacking Zoran, I'm done with you for good. If you're that stupid, you're too stupid to be around me. You're actually, just ponder it. Ponder if that's, by the way, this is a final call by me. Make your decision right now.
For them, ideally, they want a real competitor. So they were unhappy that Cuomo decided to stay. And of course, Cuomo still has supporters. And
all right, let's see what his chats are. Let's see if he's doing comradeship right now. Let's see the comradeship. Can you tell me the benefit of socialists take a private meeting with 100 capitalists? What do you think we socialists have to agree with investment bankers and Pfizer CEOs? What is the electoral value providing cover and emboldening political forces like business owners and the NYPD when they would attack Zoran and Ratfuck at every opportunity? He went into the lion's den and fought with face to face, and they were furious. He wouldn't back down. He wouldn't promise to keep the commissioner they wanted. Does the details matter to you at all? Do you actually read anything that you're hyperventilating about? He has to contain the political forces that exist. The largest police department in the fucking world is not going to go away from rhetoric. Good luck with celebrity worship. Celebrity worship. You're literally just doing Kamala is better than Trump, so you can't attack Kamala rhetoric. Does anybody say that I'm doing that? Does anybody, honestly, Mari, is that what I'm doing? Am I saying that you can't criticize Zoran? Oh, so you want Cuomo to win is literally doing that. No, I said he hasn't changed any policies. And so falling for an op from the Wall Street Journal is helping Cuomo and makes you dumb as fuck. You're saying, just like Liv say you can't support. This is the NPC. You've gone into ultra NPC mode where I say, hey, you should support this candidate. And they say, oh, just like people say vote for Kamala. No, that's why I didn't vote for Kamala, because her policies were bad. But then a candidate came along and said, I'll arrest Benjamin Netanyahu, and Israel is doing a genocide. And then I said, wow, that's good. So I supported that candidate. See, that's the difference. He said what I wanted to hear, and he bravely stood up and said, I won't go to Israel. And Israel cannot exist, can only exist as a state with equal rights, which is a dog whistle. If you know what Zionism means, it means Jewish supremacist state. So he's calling for the end of Israel as we know it. But he's saying it in a way that normal people who are scared of war and scared of conflict will understand. Can't be condemned as a terrorist supporter, and instead supports a reasonable position that uninitiated people, non-leftists, will be able to listen to and say, I agree with that. It's called organizing the masses instead of being a lifestylist. Please bring Brett on the Discord. Honestly, like, he's one more message away. One more message away. Let's see what his responses are to these arguments. How's the DSA LA takeover going? Actually, pretty well. You said I would support Cuomo by having very tame criticism of the alignment with opponent. Well, at least you admit they're tame and lame. Okay, let's see what your criticisms are. If Zoran doesn't start understanding what his ideological enemies are and that there's no handshaking or nice words about them that will ever change that, I really worry for his mayorship. In what way did he say that? You're retweeting Bronx anti-war. Zoran K. I'm not gonna talk about ultra groups because I don't feel like being mean. Is a so-called socialist, cozies up to Bronx Dem sellouts, Richie Torres, Congress's biggest Zionist horror installed by AIPAC, and Vanessa Gibson, the Bronx top Zionist. They fuel genocidal policies for the to Palestine. They are the enemy of the people. All that happened is he went to a meeting where they endorsed him, and Richie Torres also was there. And there was a picture taken. This is like the AOC criticism thing where you go, they took a picture. That's the same thing as them changing all their policies. Like, what do you try to accomplish here? Like, there is nothing being said here that's of any truth whatsoever. Zoran did not endorse Richie Torres. He did not change his position on Israel. There's a picture at a local Bronx Dem meeting where they came out, the group, the Bronx Dems, endorsed Zoran. Like, what are you talking about? I said, And then you said if Zoran does so you received that Zoran doesn't realize that Richie Torres is his ideological enemy because he took a picture with him. Like, this is not even a criticism. This is like, again, you're boosting what amounts to an ultra group. I don't know if you consider yourself an ultra or not. I think you are, but whatever. I don't know if you consider yourself that. All that happened is Zoran won the primary. A Bronx Dem group endorsed him because he won the primary, and now you're melting down. I'm just tired of the people that like backbite me all the time. Like pretending to be my friend in my face. It's like fucking weird. Mike, if this was literally anyone else standing a smile with Richie Torres, you would be irate. Come on. There's literally zero electoral value. I literally know the people behind his campaign, and they're lining up to challenge Torres. These people are running scared. This is the thing that's weird. Like, being a contentious weirdo in a political campaign where you're fighting with your own party is how he loses. It's how he loses the race to Cuomo. It's like, Democrats in disarray as Zoran attacks every single member of the Democratic coalition, blah, 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 blah. He attacks the Bronx. He rejects the endorsement of a black woman from the Bronx. Prominent Democrat. Like, this is exactly how he fucking loses. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this kind of like, you're trying to boost this kind of anti-Zoran rhetoric to throw shit on him. That's all you're doing. Let's be honest. You're throwing shit on him because you don't want him to win. Now, I don't know why you don't want him to win. I can see what you're doing. It's not confusing. You want the online left to be less enthusiastic about Zoran. You need to rein it in. Stop caring. Stop being positive. Supporting him. Stop feeling good about this win. You need to realize he's a loser. He is a sellout. He's going to betray us. Stop helping him. That's what you're trying to do. Not be confused. We know what you're trying to do. I think it would be productive for these guys to hash it out directly and over text. I don't have any time for that. I don't think I'm going to have any time for that. I have to condition my hair. Got more important things to do. You're spending time on it now? Yeah, I am.
And he will continue to have supporters, but I think they see a little bit of writing on the what they think is the writing on the wall, given the race as it stands now.
And so, what is their fear? If
my general feeling like this is, if you're gonna be a wrecker, fuck you. My general feeling in this moment, because we have serious shit that's going on, including my life personally under risk because of how much Nazi hate I get. If you're gonna try to fuck me over from the left, or what you call the left.
Mamdani does become the mayor of New York City. I mean, they sort of vocalized them in that room yesterday.
Yeah.
But what are their specific fears about what happens to the city?
So one of the biggest things that I hear is just lack of experience. You know, you can talk about his other policies, but they really wonder whether or not he just has the experience to run the city. Like, these people are managers. They know the challenges that come with that. Of course, concerns about him freezing rent, taxes, about New York City's competitiveness. There is a lot of conversation around people fleeing New York, and it's easy to dismiss it. And of course, it is hard to pick up and leave, but we did see some companies do that during the pandemic. And it has become easier with remote work and the world that we're living in. So I do think we will see some companies will be an exodus. That's not clear, but I think there is a genuine concern it could impact the New York economy. And then I should say it's a really big point for them, and of course plays into whether or not people would want to leave.
Given some of his past statements about the police in this city, but again, he's trying to bring back to the center slightly. It's going to be hard to run from some of his positions.
Yeah.
New York Times reporter Lauren Hirsch. Lauren, thanks so much. Good to have you on.
I thought we were getting rid of remote work. Wall Street Journal reporter. Notice that the propagandist they're bringing on is from the Wall Street Journal, because the centrist Dems are unifying with the Republicans to try to defeat Zoran. Because it doesn't matter, because Zoran is a sellout. Remember that, chat. Zoran is such a sellout that the Democrats uniting with the Republicans to defeat him is meaningless. Remember that. It's like one of those things where, okay, we lost 2 pro-Palestine reps in New York from exactly this type of, one pro-Palestine rep in New York, a pro-Palestine rep in St. Louis, for mega Zionists, from the strategy of, let's criticize these people because they had a bad vote 3 years ago, but they're now publicly taking the position that we want them to take. We lost them their primaries from billionaire money to mega Zionists. And the strategy is, we're going to do that to Zoran too. And you want me not to call that out? And then, by the way, if you're going to come in here with energy, don't be surprised when I give it back. Like, I have been incredibly nice for a very long time. But like, don't come in here with some sort of energy off of bullshit and then expect me to be nice about it. Come on, fuck on. And it's like, it's so fucking disgusting. Like, you could literally see propaganda they're trying to line up against this guy, and you want to help? If you're depressed, be depressed. Don't come in here and try to ruin the movement gaining momentum. 50% of young Democrats support Palestine over Israel. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? It's overblowing a small disagreement. Nah, it's not small. It's actually quite important now. It's quite important. If you're going to spend your time trashing Zoran, I'm done with you. Just let me know. Zero critique allowed. Yeah, critique of, guys, he took a picture. Guys, he went to his local party when it was endorsing him, and he gave no concessions or changed nothing, and they bent the knee in fear. That's why we need to say that he's a sellout, and he's just going to betray us like AOC, right? You consider AOC to be a sellout, and Bernie. Those guys are all sellout, and so is Jamal Bowman and Cory Bush. They're all sellouts. Not worth spending any time on. Critique like this should be held in private. Yeah. The critique of what? I can't believe can't believe he's making people endorse him for nothing. See, the main problem with ultra leftists is they believe that any existing socialist is not good enough, and that they should spend all their time criticizing it, yelling at it, undermining it, in favor of a hypothetical alternative that does not exist. And they do so to undermine public support for the existing socialist. That is a major ideological disagreement that I have. It's why I'm not an anarchist. It's why I'm not an ultra, because I understand that to organize a movement, you have to have some level of internal dissent, solidarity. If you're undermining public solidarity for no reason, when the entire Zoran movement depends upon our excitement and grassroots support, you are just fucking it up for no reason. Weren't you doing the same thing to Kat? No, because Kat is exactly the opposite of Zoran. Zoran took a Zionist on head on. Zoran took a pro-Israeli politician head on and was unafraid of his pro-Palestinian position, and he won. This has always been in the making. Crusty anarchists of avoiding. I mean, it is what it is. Like, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. If you just fundamentally don't agree with the idea that we should have any candidates for political office, I mean, then just stop talking about politicians all the time and start talking about the other shit you're doing. I'd love to see the other shit. So far, he did nothing wrong. Yeah, it's rumors from the Wall Street Journal and people bending the knee to him. And people are acting like there's some sort of thing to criticize. Criticize what? Micah, you've spun yourself into an ultimatum, but I really don't think trashing Zoran is what Brett's goal is. We should have good faith critique of our candidates when necessary, maybe not in this case. We also need to keep the negative energy in check while the election is ongoing. I think both of you are being a bit obtuse. You're most definitely same page. This is anti-solidarity. What is anti-solidarity is going around and throwing shit on our socialist candidates that have taken called stands publicly and then going, I'm just doing critique when you were called out. That's garbage. And like, Zoran is in an active campaign right now. He cannot. That's misguided, not malicious. I mean, you can only do so many misguided things before it becomes malicious, right? Like, you can only do so many misguided things before a pattern is emerging. Listen, and the reason why I'm saying this is the way it's going to be here is because I don't want to have these kind of conversations every day because they are fucking pointless. Trying to attack Zoran when he's facing literally the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, the NYPD, like, and you're going, a local Queens Democrat group endorsed him. What a sellout. What is this nonsense? And like, it's very funny how these games work because Zoran basically has the same positions as Hassan, except Zoran is actually a politician and not just somebody doing political commentary, which it's very easy to be a wrecker when you're not trying to build anything. And if you want to see the utility of running in electoral campaigns, if you're just a socialist, DSA itself has grown by 30-some% since Zoran won the primary. And it's continuing. So a whole bunch of people who are not active in any kind of socialist party or group are now joining one and paying dues for that and giving money for that and getting involved. 50,000 volunteers in one city. I have never seen anything like that for a regular socialist. That's insane. He's building a politic that's going to stand the test of time, and it's going to give more space to even more radical forms of of socialism, just like Bernie Sanders did. So many people got involved in left-wing politics because of Bernie Sanders, and then a year or two later, they're like, oh, fuck Bernie Sanders. And it's like, you're here because you believed in his electoral message and you walked down the pipeline further. But don't deny other people pipeline that you took advantage of. You live in the post-Bernie Sanders political environment. If you can't recognize the utility of socialist politicians, then you're fucking lost. Our chapter had 4 times the normal attendance in the last meeting. And like, that's it. I'm sorry, but that's right. And DSA LA sucks because it doesn't have electoral wins, because it has a city councilors. It doesn't have Congress people. It doesn't have the mayor. It doesn't have actual candidates up and down the ballot. That's why it sucks. And like, I'm sorry that I'm being harsh, but it is what it is. If you want to be harsh, if you want to come in here and be harsh, you're going to get the same energy back. And if you want to be my enemy, I've got plenty. If you can't recognize like, hey, maybe now is not the time to stab Zoran in the back, then when are you ever going to show solidarity? When? If not now. When is the solidarity going to start? DSA LA has many electoral wins. They have shit. They have nothing. And by the way, it's not because I don't like DSA LA. I like them. It's just, let's be honest. They're not influential. They're not killing it. They have some solid people and they have some idiots who suck. If you want to have a vanguard party, you know what vanguard parties have? They have democratic centralism. You know what you're not allowed to do in a vanguard party? Post on social media. Because everything has to be going through the party consensus. Social media is neoliberalism. It's about individuality. It's about building your own personal brand. You are not going to have vanguard parties through social media posting. You will not, as a member, be allowed to talk about the party dissent on social media. That would be a violation of a vanguard democratic centralist model. If that's what we're talking about. Social media ain't where we post. I think going down the European social dem route and pretending that's the only way of creating socialism democratically is a dead end. No one has said that. In fact, I highly disagree with that. I actually study revolution. And in revolution, do you know when revolutions succeed? When there is frustrated reform. There is liberalization, meaning apparatus of repression is unwinding. That's when revolutions succeed. Lenin during the Tsar was in exile. It was the provisional government that brought Lenin back, that led him to lead the revolution against who? The Menshevik, against the provisional government. That's where the socialist revolution was able to kick. And so I want these people in office because they're not going to press us as much. And when social democrats do join with the right and suppress, like happened in Germany, it's a disaster for the left. When social democrats are softening and unsure of themselves and aligned with the masses, that's when revolution occurs. Or worst case scenario, they go in and give us concessions, which improves the conditions of the working class. Free childcare would improve so many people's lives. If all that happened is Zoran went in there and did a couple social democratic tweaks and got free healthcare, or free childcare and free buses and froze the rent, that would save millions of New Yorkers, like, from being evicted, from being forced out of their communities, from being gentrified, from being thrown out of New York and forced to live at the margins or on the streets. So in and of itself, it's worth doing. And this isn't about this is all we could do or socialism is going to come from democracy. It's about using whatever we can. That's what I believe in. You said people won't be able to digest Corpo Dems bending the knee. Isn't this an example? Of course it is. And it pisses me off. Brett understands exactly what you're saying. He was much harsher than you're currently being when BE criticized Hassan for being liberal Zionism. And by the way, I think there is reasons to criticize people. I criticize them all the fucking time. I was criticizing AOC all last year, nonstop. For why? Endorsing Kamala Harris, for saying that Joe Biden should stay in the race, for not being bolder on Palestine. I criticize these people all the fucking time. But then I realize we're in the middle of a goddamn election. And it's time to show some goddamn solidarity, especially when nothing happened. And like, these people are not criticizing Zoran. They're mad that he ran as a Democrat, which I get. He did the worst thing you could do, win. If Zoran wins, then that proves that maybe trying to run in these elections might work a little bit. So the first thing if you don't believe in the electoral process at all, and that's your hidebound ideological position, and the thing you have to do is throw shit on every single electoral victory because it's discrediting your viewpoint. Now, I happen to have the position, I have a hybrid view. I'll do whatever is working. If we can win an election, I'll win that election. If we need to do direct action, I support the direct action. You'll never see me punch left on direct action. You never saw me condemn anybody's direct action. But what I do condemn is people doing wrecker shit. It pisses me off. What we need right now more than ever is positive momentum and energy and hope. I don't know if you noticed, but people on the left are fucking depressed. I don't know if you noticed, but they're hopeless. They're not getting revolutionary fervor from hopelessness. And like, the reality is DSA is blowing up. And I bet you PSL is growing too. I bet you PSL grew from Zoran's win. Because that's what always happens, is that when one group wins, one socialist, openly socialist, democratic socialist, not running away from the socialist label, wins the election on surging youth turnout, that helps every socialist group, even the ones that are to the left of him. And yeah, it goddamn pisses me off. And I don't want to tolerate this bullshit. And I don't want to. Now, if you have a real substantive critique on some position that Zoran is legitimately changing, if Zoran suddenly came out and said, I support Israel as a Jewish state, if he said that, then I would have nothing but contempt for his campaign. But that he didn't do that. I want solidarity. And the idea that, oh no, see, you're putting energy in electoral campaigns and it's wasting energy, could be used somewhere else, is blatantly false. What happened is victory begat victory. People won this election and more people wanted to join in. It was a bandwagon. It was the opposite of what you say. This wasn't a diversion from other work. This was something that was building the strength of the socialist movement through victory. I want you to understand that solidarity right now is what we need. And I have solidarity for you if you have solidarity for me. That's what I want. And if you have criticisms for Zoran, have them be about something for real. After he won, he went to DSA. Now, I think Brett's anti-DSA. I don't know if that's fair critique. I think he's generally just anti-DSA. I think he thinks DSA is bad because they have some bad politicians that came out of there. He's anti-DSA LA, which is literally one of the largest chapters and has all tendencies in it. And he wants DSA LA to be harsher on politicians, I guess. I wish 100% people support me saying globalize the intifada and that Israel should be dismantled. That's not where people are right now. They don't understand what's going on in Palestine. They don't. They don't know the history. They don't know the history of their own country. It's our job to be an educator. If you're a socialist, you are an evangel. You have to have patience, and you must go where the masses are. He's mad DSA LA organized some candidates that in turn voted for pro-Israel and immigration bills. Yeah, I saw there was one candidate who did that, and they're a piece of garbage. Introducing the Center for Proletarian Solidarity. All are welcome to join. Merchandise coming soon, with all the proceeds going to a legal fund for anyone Ethan Klein sues. Anyway, I like Brett. I actually really do like Brett. And I do like his energy. And I do like his frustration. At the end of the day, I like Brett. I do. But all I care about, and he could be mad at me, and he could call me a piece of shit. That's totally fine by me. I'm used to it. I like Brett. I think he's really great. I think he does a lot of good work. And I just think he's dead wrong about how to get more people interested in socialism. I just think you're wrong about that, man. I think people pay attention to politics through election. And the state is worth seizing by any means. Electoral, and I'm not trying to make and I'm sorry I got worked up. Fucking stupid, man. And like, I get it. You're worried about him betraying us. It's a totally fucking sane worry. But you have trauma. You have trauma of being betrayed. I want you to know something about politics. A lot of people are going to stab you in the back. You know how many people have stabbed me in the back? You know how many people have stabbed me in the fucking back? I mean, Christ. Some of them are still our friends. Like, I have overlooked backstabbing that has gone on toward me. Quite a bit of backstabbing, actually. When I'm in the middle of fighting Nazis and I'm worried about the safety of my family because I'm one of the most prominent people fighting these scum. And people are in the back, stabbing me in the back all over the place in left-wing communities. Spreading misinformation about me, spreading Nazi talking points. Happens all the time. Do I spend my time worrying about that shit? Oh, hell yeah. Open presence. You should DM me. And like, the thing about me is I'm not going to hold a grudge over this disagreement because I know why Brett feels the way he does. It's totally valid to be disappointed with where our supposed champions are. But if there's any candidate in the entire country braver than Zoran, they don't exist. They don't. This is the largest city in America. This is the most important election a socialist has ever had a chance to win in our history, in our country. I mean, other than Bernie running for... And yeah, I'm sure he's going to piss me off and do things that I don't agree with. And I wish he could be even more bold. But him winning and this energy is going to help us. If you don't agree with me, I'm done with you. Decide now. I won't hold this against my comrade because I'm a reasonable guy. I think that if you want to spend your time trashing Zoran, you're not my comrade. You're not. You're not. That's the question I'm asking him to decide on, not whether or not we are friends or whatever. If he wants to just not be, if he doesn't think I should consider him a comrade, then that would be good to know. I don't want to like spend my time building up someone and befriending someone who doesn't like me and doesn't support what I'm doing. It's a very simple ask. And yeah, chat, don't dogpile Brett. I wasn't reading the chat very closely. Sorry. So if somebody was dogpiling Brett, you should apologize. Brett is a big boy. He does the same shit at Hassan's chat. He can handle it. He can handle it. That's why I'm giving him the energy, because I know he can handle it. The chat was mean. Don't be mean, chat. Brett can handle this shit. He's a big boy. I like him. He probably doesn't even like me. That's kind of the sense I get, but it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, again, I like people for what they do. It's like Bernie Sanders, right? Bernie Sanders, at the end of the day, is a liberal Zionist. And I think he's called it a genocide. Hasn't he called it a genocide? I think most of the time he says Netanyahu's government is committing war crimes, right? He hasn't said genocide at all. Here's the reality. Bernie Sanders is an old fucking man, and he lived in Israel. That sucks. But here he is with his bad position. Same thing with Brad Lander. I don't like Brad Lander because he's a liberal Zionist. But when the time came to either join with the right wing, with the Zionists, genociders, or to show solidarity for people that were further to his left, he showed solidarity. He endorsed Dr. Saeed in Michigan running for Senate. He endorsed Zoran. He endorsed all these pro-Palestine people like Summer Lee. But we have two ways we could react. We could say that we fucking hate Bernie. But if Bernie Sanders was in office, the genocide would not be happening. This is a fact. The genocide of Gaza would not be happening if Bernie Sanders was in office. Would he have ended the apartheid? Would he have created a one-state solution? Maybe not. But the reality is that he is using what remains of his clout to push people that are further to it. That shows me why. That's why I like Bernie Sanders, even though I strongly disagree. If he had his way, we would be saving the people of Palestine, withdrawing our support, ordering them to end the genocide. So in this moment, I appreciate this and recognize it, even though I criticize Bernie for being too weak on this issue. I criticize AOC a lot for her mistakes. You stood by me when I needed you because I followed your orders so the chat could do it too. I mean, it's not even about like orders. Like, criticizing AOC is totally fine. In fact, she needs that. But we also need to understand what our job is. We are the center of the global empire. Socialism will thrive if we rein in the empire, which is our job. Which means we need to take the steps we could take immediately. I think the best we could realistically do is create the conditions to make openly left politics at all popular, to pave the way for radical sentiment. That's exactly right. You know what? They're trying to ban PSL. Tom Cotton wants to ban PSL. They banned in the UK Palestine Action. Do you want to go? You want to be dogged by the FBI? Zoran will never allow that to happen. AOC would never allow that to happen. So you are literally going to allow the state to be used against you like it's being used against Palestinian advocates in the UK? Be smart. They're locking up members of Palestine Action right now. They're locking up people for saying they support Palestine Action in the UK. It's a criminal offense. They called them a terrorist group because they put paint on a plane. Bernie is not the enemy or the solution. Spending time going after Bernie is a waste. Rather, we put that energy in helping people left of Bernie get elected. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And I like Brett. And I like my people to my left. But I don't want you to be trashing Zoran off of rumor. And that's how he loses. The way Zoran loses is that the people like me and the people like Hassan turn against him. And he loses that grassroots momentum. And young people stop being excited and stop being passionate. And then the billionaire money buys off the older voters and the more conservative voters. That's how he loses the election to fucking Cuomo, who is on Netanyahu's fucking defense team. What are we talking about here? Congrats for Tectone for taking off 43K live. The most botted streamer on Twitch. The most botted streamer on Twitch.
You do not have, there is no fail state. Hit the switches until you succeed. Hit the puzzle. That's what I'm talking about when I said square pen, square hole.
Chat, let's do it. Let's do a chat speed test. Chat speed test. Everybody say, what's the robot emoji? Everybody say Mr. Destructoid in the chat real quick. Everybody say Mr. Destructoid in the chat real quick. Everybody, let's do it. We're doing a chat race. Is Twitch going to do anything about this? Is Twitch going to be doing anything about this? 43,000. Like, let's be real, man. Let's be real. You're discrediting the entire website. At a certain point, can we stop? Like, this is going to harm us with advertisers. This is what's going to be harming us with advertisers. When you have somebody botting at the very top of just chatting. Like, come on. Like this is advertisers want to know that they're buying ads on that viewers are actually watching. Like, I know that people disagree with certain different types of content, and you're wrong. Change the channel. But what's really going to bother advertisers is when you have people at the top of a fucking website who have completely fake audiences. Like, that's what's going to hurt the website. Like, come the fuck on. Anyway, long story short, this is what winning power could do for a political party. This is what I mean. Mexico's ruling party, Morena, has gained 7 million new members. They're building $1.2 million. I mean, like, come on, man. Check out the what is it? The user to viewer ratio, 28%. That means the ratio of people that are logged in to the people that are viewing him. Sometimes bots are logged in. This doesn't even eliminate all bots. Like, for fuck's sake, install Fox. I know, I'm going to. The ads are so bad. It finally broke my ad blocker. Chrome is done. Anyway, does anybody think Claudia Sheinbaum not winning would have been better for Mexico? Does anybody think it would have been better for Mexico to be in the hands of the far right? Does anybody think that it would be better if there wasn't a left-wing party in power in Mexico? What progressive won in Arizona? I don't know if you heard what I did. Nothing. I'll tell you later. What the fuck? Holy shit. Fist VO made me. The fuck? Yo! Thank you, VO. Thank you. Anyway, Jay Marianne, Tell Brett I still love him, but he's dead fucking wrong for boosting bullshit against Zoran. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. You are supposed to be single. Oh man, like, the thing about me is I'm not gonna try to protect the women in my life. I don't hide behind them. And if I dated someone 6 years ago, I'm not going to throw them under the bus to protect myself. I'll stand there and I'll take. You can call me whatever the fuck you want. I'm not going to let the people that rely on me for the protection to be vulnerable. Just so, and NBs, of course. I'm not going to let my ego be more important than their safety. People can call me whatever the fuck they want. They can call me incel. They can call me ugly. I don't give a fuck. Continue to protect people that I care. And I'm never going to make it easy for them. It is funny to me that these right-wingers do not watch my stream. That's what's funny. They call me all sorts of shit, and it could be debunked by 5 minutes of watching my shit. So the only people who believe it are people that literally are telling on themselves as being reality check. Dems are way behind their 2006 and 2018 pace on the generic ballot.
The bottom line is that Democrats behind their 2000 ballot. What are we talking? All right, look at where we are now. Democrats are ahead by in 2017. They were behind 5 on the, ahead by points, and now they're only of where it was in 5 in July of those. Yes, Donald Trump anywhere close to sealing the deal.
Wave. Yes. All right, this is the direct ballot test. 135 of when you go race by race.
What happened when you go race by race? Well,
chat. We just talk about bad input. Okay, I'm sorry for losing my shit on Brett. I think I'm just mad in general lately. That was just displacement. It is what it is. I feel bad. Let's see, because I don't want to have bad blood with people that I like, even though I like him. You know, he's just dead wrong about Zoran, and it is what it is. You know, it pisses me off. What do you want me to say? Also, hangry. Introducing the Center for Proletarian Solidarity. All are welcome to join. Merchandise coming soon, with all proceeds going to a legal fund for anyone Ethan Klein sues. Mari is right. Mari is always right. That's so true. Mari is even more right than me. Center for Proletarian Solidarity. So good. God damn it. It's so good. VO. Why didn't my mods come up with this? Why did you guys come up with this for me? I'm your illegal housekeeper. What the hell? Keep me out of this. Yeah. You want to ask me socialism? Maybe we'll talk about that. I've talked before. Big 20. Report Hamas Piker for supporting terrorists. He should be banned already. Okay, thank you, sports fan 88888. Tough subject to talk about given the amount of historical L's. What is the fastest growing economy in history? China's economic expansion since its reforms began in 1978 is widely considered the fastest sustained growth by any major economy in history, with average annual GDP growth rates of over 9%, lifting hundreds of millions out of poverty and transforming its role in the global economy. I mean, I guess other than that market socialist, strategy. I mean, other than this one. And, actually Yugoslavia was pretty good too. Not gonna lie. And when they got rid of Yugoslavian market socialism, do you know what happened to the country? It disintegrated into bloody nationalist civil war and genocide. Thanks, capitalism. China's economy slows as consumers tighten belt. U.S. tariff risks mount. Wait, what? Q2 GDP grows 5.2%, above the 5.24. They're saying it's slowing at 5.2%? If America had 2%, every single politician would be having an orgasm live on TV. China's economy slowed less than expected in the second quarter to show of resilience against tariffs. So analysts warn that weak demand at home and rising global trade risks will ramp up pressure on Beijing to roll out more stimulus. I'm just reading this, chat. Sorry. China just keeps winning.
Ratings and 5 more net. Well, last time around, look at Democrats were ahead by. How about 2? What's going on right now? Republican, you add in the likely ballot 2000. Actually, when it comes, you see that it actually have more anything like those wave elections. Hey, so what does no ballot? Look at where we are now. A lot more. 2000 actually held onto the House. Will it happen this time around? For anyone who this is a reality show, very much
area and be quite a reality show.
He's calling it the Epstein hoax. The reality that we have is that we have an opportunity for the left to seize power in this country. And a lot of people are really traumatized from defeat in 2016 and 2020. And so because they lost, and I got to tell you, pathetic. I got to tell you, it does not matter. Also, my sub goal is completely broken. So let me just turn that off. That's so annoying, dude. I tried to redo it, but it looks like you need to buck. Bernie Sanders was the left's Barry Goldwater. He's the person who brought these ideas to the fore, but the country wasn't ready for it yet. And now they are. So I need you to lock the. And we can win fighting for Palestine. We can win fighting for Medicare for all, for a Green New Deal. Do you know what's in the Green New Deal? Like we say the Green New Deal, and there are 15 major pieces of the Green New Deal. We're talking about public transit, high-speed rail, a smart grid. We're talking about water system. We're talking about green energy. We're talking about social and public housing. We're talking about living wage. We're talking about unionization. The Green New Deal is something we say, and it's 3 words, but there are so many left-wing policies. You know, we could have sectoral bargaining. We can have expand the Supreme Court, get rid of the filibuster, add DC, and if Puerto Rico wants it, Puerto Rico as a state. We're talking about all sorts of hugely impactful policies that'll change your lives. A jobs guarantee, cooperative agriculture. Alti Solstice says they wrote that part. You did? Nice. We will have hardening against, the storms and disasters climate change is going to bring on. Protecting the levees of New Orleans, protecting New York, Florida, protecting our country from wildfires. Do you think it's all break down these policies into the Green New Deal? It is when we're talking about it. And so I hear a lot of people but I ask you, go read a history book, man. Socialists and social democratic parties have won, and then they have enacted policies, and they have made people's lives better. I show you Red Vienna for a reason. Let me show it to you one more time, just so you get an idea.
Let's hop across the pond and about 100 years back in time to take a look at just one example of how an alternative housing model got started in beautiful Red Vienna. At the end of the First World War, the Austro-Hungarian Empire collapsed, leaving behind a number of successor states, including modern-day Austria, home to the former imperial capital of Vienna, the 5th largest city in the world. Despite being the seat of an empire, the chaos of the war and decades of neglect had left the working class of Vienna in desperate circumstances. Inflation was rampant, jobs were scarce, social services were non-existent, and hundreds of thousands of people were
people hauling firewood to heat their homes and their huts. They had to haul firewood on their backs.
Were non-existent, and hundreds of thousands of people were crammed into decaying tenements where overcrowding, disease, and violence were rampant. So it's no surprise that in 1919, at the first elections ever held in Austria where all adult citizens could vote, the Social Democratic Party swept into power at the municipal level on the promise of dramatic social and economic reform. And they delivered. The new government of Vienna implemented a huge range of services, including public health care and public child care. They built high-quality hospitals, schools, and recreational facilities. But their crowning achievement was an ambitious program of social housing, what Americans call public housing, that began in 1923 and saw 60,000 new apartments constructed in the first year of its existence, built by the government and financed by taxes on the rich. But these weren't the kinds of apartments you might picture when you think of public housing in the United States. drab high-rises plagued by chronic neglect and underinvestment. Residents could enjoy leafy courtyards, wide open spaces, and plenty of natural light. They had shared laundries, state-of-the-art kitchens, food co-ops, bathhouses, pharmacies, lecture halls, schools, and swimming pool. These apartments were designed to be both beautiful to look at and beautiful to live in, fostering a sense of shared community among the people who lived there. And the best part was that because the city didn't have to worry about making a profit, just about paying off their maintenance costs, these homes were both much nicer and much cheaper than what workers had previously known. In 1926, the average rent in Viennese social housing was about just 4% of a monthly wage. The first 15 years after Austrian independence saw its capital transform from a symbol of urban blight into a beacon of socialist governance. It became known as Red Vienna, after the official color of the socialists who had pioneered these changes. And even though Red Vienna fell in 1934 when the country was seized by fascists, who did what they could to roll back social housing, that commitment to good, cheap housing remained after the Second World War. Today, an astonishing 62% of all city residents live in social housing, the average monthly rent falling somewhere between $400 and $600 a month, with subsidies for lower-income tenants. That is a fraction of what people in America. Unlike in the United States, where public housing is treated as a worst-case way to house the very poor, Vienna's social housing residents are extremely diverse. Everyone except the top fifth of the population is eligible to live in social housing. This means there's broad appeal across many segments of society, which creates the foundation for its political popularity. That is how the majority of people in Vienna enjoy something that's considered almost utopian here in New York. Affordable housing that isn't just cheap, but desirable. Housing that isn't just four walls and a roof, but a real home, with a sense of stability, safety, and community built in. Now, of course, this is only one example of an alternative framework for housing, and Vienna has not fully removed housing from the domain of the market. Residents still pay part of their earnings in rent to cover operational costs, and a sizable chunk of the population lives in private housing. But it's an actually existing alternative that shows us what a step toward a better world could look like. If we want to end the housing crisis, the solution has to be moving toward the full decommodification of housing. In other words, moving away from the status quo in which most people access housing.
Are you guys sure we shouldn't abandon him? He did take a picture with the local Queens Democrats. Are you guys sure we shouldn't abandon him? This guy seems kind of like shit. How about Andrew Cuomo? He seems like a better guy.
By purchasing it on the market and toward a future where we guarantee high quality housing to all as a human right. So how can we do it? We can start by making sure people who access housing on the private market have ironclad protections against abuse and exploitation. But to go further, toward the Vienna model, we'll have to go beyond the market. We can establish community land trusts to gradually buy up housing on the private market and convert it to community ownership. We can give tenants a right of first refusal to buy out their landlords when buildings go up for sale. And we can fully commit to a new era of social housing, ending subsidies for luxury housing development and using our wealth to build beautiful, high-quality social housing projects that offer good homes and strong communities to everyone. We won't decommodify housing overnight, but we know what we have to do, and we have history to guide us. And we know how we'll get there, through a movement of the multiracial working class organizing for the better world we know is possible, and we've already begun. I'm Zohran Mamdani, Assemblyman for New York's 36th Assembly District in Astoria, Queens, for the Gravel Institute.
I think it's a good idea if you hate that guy. Fuck that guy. Fuck that celebrity. That celebrity. We need to retweet our 500 follower Twitter account. That guy. The search for a liberal Joe Rogan has led Democrats to an unlikely candidate, Jamie Harrison, their former party chair. Everybody, the Splitter Discord needs to know. Zohran Mamdani has picked up supporters outside New York City. 50.02% of his $852,000 haul in the last month came from zip code the 5 boroughs. For Eric Adams, it's 42% or 46%. For Andrew Cuomo, it's 64,000. That's raised nothing. And Curtis, it's 38% of his 168,000. 64,000 raised by Andrew Cuomo? Yikes. An alliance of 20 plus tow truck operators have come together in Los Angeles. They're having people follow ICE vehicles around and reporting their locations. As soon as ICE park their car anywhere, usually improperly, the tow trucks swoop in, tag the ICE vehicle for illegal park, and tow their cars away as quickly as possible. LAPD is letting it happen unchallenged. They're estimating 30 ICE vehicles being towed in the last week alone. I love LA. I don't see a problem with enforcing the parking laws. I believe in law and order. If these guys are violating the parking laws, they should be punished. Law and order. These guys are cool as fuck. Those guys are cool as fuck. Anyway, chat, I'm sorry for being so contentious today. I really am. I can't do it anymore, man. I can't have people pretending that Zoran is like as bad as fucking Kamala Harris because someone took a picture with him or he went into a meeting to yell at CEOs. Like, what the hell are you talking about, man?
Twin Cities Boulevard is practical, not radical.
Interstate 94 in the Twin Cities has reached the end of its useful life, and it's time to decide the future of the roadway, the land, our communities, and the Twin Cities for generations to come.
There are really only two options for the Minnesota Department of Transportation's Rethinking I-94 project.
Studying a future-focused option that reconnects communities with a multimodal boulevard, a boulevard that meets the diverse ways that people move today and will move tomorrow, restoring and revitalizing communities and building economic opportunities for those harmed by the highway and for our cities at large.
The other option is to fail at truly rethinking I-94 and double down on a logic of the past by rebuilding the highway as it is today, harming our communities for generations to come.
The construction of Interstate 94 through the heart of the Twin Cities destroyed communities, divided and displaced thousands of people, and continues to harm us today. The air and noise pollution cause awful health impacts to those who live, work, and go to school in Seward, Cedar Riverside, Prospect Park, St. Anthony Park, Union Park, Hamlin Midway, Rondo, and Frogtown.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to begin repairing past harms.
The most responsible option for the future of the Rethinking I-94 project is Twin Cities Boulevard.
The Minnesota Department of Transportation plans to finalize the decision to remove the at-grade options, also known as the boulevard options, from consideration in the project by the fall. The agency is ignoring community support for studying this transformative option and has been deliberate in its process to favor rebuilding this highway as it is today. However, there is still time to act and apply pressure to the decision makers of this project so that your voice is heard to make the Twin Cities a more livable, climate resilient, vibrant, healthy, and
It's fucking crazy to me that people they want the highways, man. They're such dog shit. They're so hideous.
Community.
The agency continues to
I tried to DM you on Twitter. Maybe I'm too much of a boomer. You probably are in my pending request. What's your name on Twitter?
Acknowledge residents and community members as they vocalize their disdain for the harms of I-94.
We will take that under advisement.
But they must move beyond acknowledgement to actually enact the will of frontline communities who continue to demand an opportunity to study the at-grade options and implement real solutions to the needs and concerns of affected communities.
The Minnesota Department of Transportation and Governor Walz hold the power to give this innovative transportation option a real chance. Sign the community letter, help us spread the word, and join us in door knocking. Contact decision makers and follow us to stay informed.
I found you, I think. I live in the Twin Cities, and the transformation an update could bring would be amazing. We have so much amazing greenery and nature we could allow to grow. Oh, yeah. I mean, I agree completely with this. This group is totally correct. Not on everything, but on this, they are right. The highway is fucking useless. Get rid of it.
Street Garden is saved, and we're building 5 times as much affordable housing around the corner without destroying the garden. Hey, Yimby, why are you crying? I thought you were pro-housing.
Not this kind of housing.
Yimbys are against affordable housing.
And they're against gardens.
Which makes them super NIMBY.
And what do they actually want? Okay, I got it.
New Yorkers no longer fall for these super NIMBYs. District 1 came together to re-elect city councilman.
Okay, listen, I have no idea what this is. I am not in the know. I can't tell you if that makes sense or not. I don't know about Garden or that specific TikTok account. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. I don't know. Take no side in that fight because I literally don't know. All right. New York City business leaders meet Zoran. And by the way, chat, let you in on a little secret. This is what happens. When you become mayor, the business leaders are forced to deal with you and you deal with them. And what do? You bully them to get what you want. And you try to contain their political power, which they have tremendous.
And a second day of meetings set to begin between the New York City Democratic mayoral candidate Zoran Mandami and more than 100 executives. It's been organized by the Viewership for New York City, planning to meet with sitting mayor Eric Adams tomorrow. And joining us right now, someone who spent some time with that nominee yesterday and a whole bunch of other CEOs, Catherine Wild President and CEO of the New York City. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so take us inside the room. I know there was a million different questions asked about everything from anti-Semitism to taxes to how many freebies can be given away. What was the outcome in terms of the feeling in the room when it was over?
I think everyone walked away thinking that he was the most impressive candidate they have seen in generations.
They're so scared.
Very compelling, charming, smart young man.
Mm-hmm.
And honest, means what he says. So, and he's full of hope.
Okay, so here's my question, though. There were, in terms of the reporting that I saw on this, a lot of folks who thought he was charming and a great candidate. Clearly, he's a good candidate in that he was able to huge base and could speak in a way that attracted a group to vote for him. Having said that, there was also a sense, at least from some of the reporting that I saw and folks that I talked, that a lot of the people in the business community might have thought he was charming, but fundamentally disagreed with his underlying views of how to attack the city's problems.
Totally, you didn't let me finish. That was my but.
Okay.
But no, he's clearly totally inexperienced. They raised the issue of, it's a city of 300,000. It's a very complicated management experience. What have you done? What prepared you? He said, well, I'd surround myself with people and follow the Mike Bloomberg principle of letting them do their job. That was a good answer, but I don't think it was. It made up for the experience. And on policy issues, he's sourced.
I mean, that's a meaningless question, and the answer is also as dumb as the question is. He had a campaign that had over 50,000 people in it.
From sort that they don't believe in terms of the fiscal realities, the tax impacts, et cetera.
And did he hold firm? Did you feel like he on those views? Did you think that there was a flexibility to his perspective?
I don't think he would. What he said was he wouldn't be flexible on his basic values. He was eager to learn. He seemed to want to say, I'm open to learning, to better understanding. And he said, importantly, because I think it's important, I think we all agree the challenges facing the city, he nailed it. Affordability and et cetera. The fact that he was his values, but he was willing to learn and to figure out how to, if there are other ways to achieve his goals. Right. The example was freeze the rent. Well, he said, well, I would look at reform of prices, and obviously property tax % of the rent in rent-regulated buildings. So he did express some openness to look at other ways of solving the problem than just...
One of the things I hear often from CEOs in this city is the worry about anti-Semitism in the city. And I know that he was asked about his refusal publicly on Meet the Press, I think over 3 times he was asked to condemn this phrase, globalize the Intifada. What did he say to your group?
He described how he had learned what that meant and how frightening that was to a young Jewish woman, and that he said he was not going to use it and use this again, and that he would discourage others from using it.
And do you think that discourage is the same as condemn?
No, I don't think so.
Does that concern you, or did that concern others in the room? I know that Albert Bourla, obviously is Jewish, runs Pfizer, is on the board of the partnership.
Absolutely it concerns, absolutely.
And was that expressed? I mean, was this
Yes, and no, it was expressed in great detail.
But no movement on that front in your mind?
I would say he said that he would definitely oppose, he realized the problem of anti-Semitism had become enormous, and that he would do everything he could to bring people together to try and fight that. So that was the tenor of the response.
What kind of answers did he provide, to the extent that people said, look, you may have all of these ideas, but these ideas, given what you're...
Does that sound like he's like giving ground, chat? He just said, I wouldn't say that. I can see why some people feel that way. He said, he went in there and said, I want the rent to go down. I'm willing to look at other ways to make the rent go down. And then her other thing is she's the most compelling politician I've ever seen. And he's hyper charming. And there was nothing there. They got nothing. They tried to intimidate him. They got the CEO of Pfizer to come in there and try to intimidate him on Israel. And he stood up face to face with them. We should be celebrating this as a fucking hilarious W. Aura farming. How dare people try to turn this into an L? That fucking bullshit move, man. That's so annoying. What the fuck's wrong with you? He went into the lion's den and they came out shell-shocked and scared, but also intimidated. They didn't come out there ready to fight. They came out like, this guy's really good at this.
Role is as a mayor can't necessarily speak to that idea, meaning that there's a whole bunch of things he can do.
No,
he can deal with rent control, or he can go after rent control if he wants to. It's harder for him to raise taxes, for example, without the help of Albany.
Those are the kind of points that our members were making. So,
and what kind of how did he respond to those points?
There was a good and forth discussion. I think the main purpose of the meeting was to introduce the winner of the Democratic primary to the members. Our organization does not endorse in political races. We don't political one way or the other on individual candidates. So this was strictly a get to know the candidate conversation. And I would say that they, I doubt it changed many minds, but I think it lowered the temperature instead in terms of fear.
I thought you were, I don't know, you don't endorse, but last time you were on, I thought you're sort of thinking that the alternative to this candidate would be Mayor Adams.
Well, Mayor Adams is the incumbent mayor.
Yes? No, I know that. But as far as who you would like to drop out if there were, you're in a position where you got a CYA because this guy might be mayor. I understand. Who has the most viable chance?
By the way, chat, I mean, I can't believe people are not seeing this. Am I coping right now? The capitalists, their face. They're shell-shocked. They're in fear. And you're saying, no, let's ruin this energy. Let's say that actually he's an ally of Richie Torres. What the fuck are you doing, man? What the fuck are you doing? And he's a CYA means cover your ass. So he said you have to CYA because he could be mayor. What he's saying here is state power is incredible, and it's dangerous to make the sitting mayor your enemy, especially one who has so much support of the common people. They're scared shitless. And the reason why they're scared is because everything that Zoran says is completely doable. And he's going to make millions of people's lives better, and he's going to make the rich pay for it. And once you see that, you're going to be like, wait a minute, we could just have a better society by making the rich pay? And you're going to say, why don't we do that for more stuff they're scared of? They are fucking scared shitless, not just of the power he'll immediately have as mayor, the fact that he will be a prominent American politician and leader, and he'll be able to organize more effort. And so he'll be able to primary representatives in New York who do not support his free health child care bill. He'll be able to go after politicians and the governor with them in primaries and give his campaign and back up to any challenger that agrees to help him achieve those goals. So they're saying, well, he can't do that without Albany. That's exactly the point. If he wins in New York, then there's an immense base for socialists to build on. He'll hire dozens and hundreds of socialists to work in the New York City government at senior advisory positions. He'll have all sorts of progressives and allies manning those political appointments. He'll have them as his advisors. He'll have them as his department heads. He'll be developing dozens of experienced socialists and paying them salaries and wages to do so. He'll be organizing the community every day. I don't think people really understand what winning feels like. I think people are so goddamn used to losing, they're actually scared of winning. That's why I showed you that video of Red Vienna, because the socialists won, and then they achieved so much change that people's lives completely became different. There was the before the socialist period, and then there was the after the socialist period in Vienna. They went from people hauling firewood by hand to their hut to a modern, high-rise social housing apartment that they had the right of rent control in, they could live in, and pay 4% of their wages. They went from a hut to indoor plumbing, kitchens, kindergartens, dentists, public schools. They went from millions of people went from being illiterate to literate. This wasn't a hypothetical change. It was a fundamental restructuring of millions of lives for the better. And Open Presence, thank you so much for the 100 gifty. Like, Austria, to this day, is the most livable city in the world because of what those socialists did around the turn of the century. And just to clear up some confusion, chat, Social Democrat in 1919 includes socialists. Everybody called themselves a social democrat, communists and socialists. We all used to call ourselves social. It wasn't until later that people started to divide it up. Everybody was a social democrat in 1919. Just so you are not confused. Yes, the Bolsheviks were the Social Democratic Labor Party. Exactly. Social Democrats are a Marxist thing until the SPD fucked Germany sideways. I don't even want to get started on that because it's actually a cause of massive brain rot. That the SPD in Germany was fucking stupid has caused so much massive brain rot that now everybody says dumbass shit. Like Social Democrats will always betray the left. Not true. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But people will say dumb fucking shit and they will like not even think because the Social Democrat in Germany, the Social Democratic Party of Germany had a massive L in 1920. I'm not saying that Social Democrats can't betray you or liberals can't betray you, but it's like a thought terminating cliche that we now have to deal with forever and ever and ever. And you know what? The Social Democrats of Sweden allied with North Vietnam during the Vietnam War. I guess they didn't betray them then. Like why did the Social Democrats in Sweden send aid to North Vietnam? If the Social Dems always betray the left, why did they do that? Yes, it was called the Iron Front, Toasty. There was the Iron Front, but then it changed to they did a different alliance. What was it called? I can't remember. Global livability standard for this year is in. Vienna has lost its spot. Copenhagen won. Vienna's number 2. No, they lost their spot due to stability. Whatever the fuck stability means. Copenhagen is literally the most socialist city. I mean, it's also another left-wing city, of course. Vienna had 100 in healthcare, education, and infrastructure, and a 93.5 in culture and environment, and a 95% in stability. Communism has failed. No! They have a socialist ice cream truck that is taxpayer funded? Wait, what? A perfect day in Copenhagen, the socialist utopia gone. This is a Medium article. Okay, you gotta give me like a link to this. How will Zoran handle the NYPD? That is a really difficult question. I have thoughts, and this is where Brett is right. Brett is right that the NYPD is going to be his enemy. Brett is right, but it's the biggest police department in the world, and he's got to be smart or they'll kill him. He has to figure out, to do things in a skilled sequence. He has to avoid mutiny, retaliation extended behind consequences. Former NYPD Commissioner Tom Donilon says the NYPD arrested his wife in an act of vengeance, then leaked to the New York Post. Orchestrated a false arrest and unlawful detention of Donilon's wife, a private citizen with no connection to his official duties, by NYPD officers under their control. It was a deliberate abuse of power designed to punish and intimidate Donilon for exposing their misconduct. She was handcuffed, subjected to a full body and personal effects search, and told by Officer Vargas that she would be transported to central booking. Coordinated humiliation was a direct warning. The NYPD defendants would stop at nothing to personally destroy Donilon, even if it meant violating the constitutional rights of his spouse. And then they leaked this information to the press. Former NYPD head accuses Mayor Adams and police brass of criminal enterprise. This is actually good news, because it means there's more people that have a lot of experience handling the cops that are really pissed off and want to reform them. This is exactly the type of shit you want. You want people that are experienced NYPD commissioners who are mad at the NYPD. This is exactly the type of people Zoran needs, so you can do a purge of corruption. NYPD brass spied on his communications and blocked internal probes into executive misconduct within the NYPD's ranks. Wire fraud, mail fraud, and obstruction of justice. It accuses NYPD officials of enriching themselves, friends, and associates by awarding unearned raises, inflated pensions, promotions, and unchecked overtime. These are basic accusations from a disgruntled former employee who was given the opportunity to lead the world's greatest police department in the world and proved himself to be ineffective. The suit is nothing more than an attempt to seek compensation at the taxpayer's expense. Mr. Donilon was rightfully removed from role of interim police commissioner, committed by the indignant, inexperienced, and insubordination of NYPD top executives, which making critical decisions which defied logic, common decency, and professionalism. Donilon was appointed interim commissioner after Edward Caban resigned from the post following an FBI raid on his home. Donilon says the suit he served in name only and true control of the NYPD remained in the hands of Adams' corrupt inner circle. The suit comes a week after four former chiefs filed whistleblower lawsuit. This is so good. Oh my God, is Zoran the luckiest socialist in history? Everybody knock on wood. Oh, this is great. This is great. This is exactly what we need. Jack, can I show you my favorite Vienna video about the new apartments they're building? I want to make Hassan watch this.
The Austrian capital, Vienna, is creating a completely new district. Seestadt Aspern is being constructed on a former airfield on the outskirts of town. 27,000 people are to live here one day. It's a testing ground for sustainable housing and living. The subway was built long before the first house was erected. It only takes 15 minutes to get from the center of the capital to Vienna's newest district.
15 minutes! Come on!
It's meant to be car-free, so bikes can be rented everywhere free of charge.
A very important aspect was the connection to public transport, right from the beginning. The first step was excavating the lake, and then the subway was built. The idea was that people knew from the start they could travel here using public transport, instead of at first taking their car and then having to relearn their behavior and get used to taking the subway.
The construction of Seestadt Aspern is being supported by several research teams.
Okay. I'm going to say something that's going to sound a little bit ableist. I think Austrians are, in general, a little bit more on the spectrum than other group people, and they enjoy central planning a little bit more. They're like, you know, they like this kind of shit. They're like, yes, we should take money from the rich and fund transit. It makes sense, and we get a train. Like, to them, that's like, oh man, good point, we get another train. Which sometimes Austrians and trains, that sometimes there's a little sus. It's a little sus. We had to slap them around a little bit, but now they're back on their good shit.
Magdalena Würbäumer and Florian Püringer are investigating in a mobile lab how the residents of Seestadt travel. They get the data from an app, which I also download directly onto my cell phone. For the next few days, it will automatically record all the routes that my camera team and I take, plus info about the means of transport used and our CO2 consumption.
I live in Barcelona and we have a socialist mayor. The quality of life is unbeatable. We have incredible public transit, food, community, and cultural events. It's truly amazing. It makes you look back at America like you were living in the Stone Ages. Yes, I know. It's fucking bullshit. Americans, like, LA could be so incredible. Like, it bums me out. LA could make Barcelona look like a hovel. If it had the right leadership, 10, 20 years of the right leadership, LA could be, like, literally the best place in the world. But it's just so frustrating that they won't do it.
Researchers also go from house to house to distribute questionnaires.
We need to know what the status quo is and monitor it continuously, because there are changes in individual behavior, and simultaneously, Seestadt Aspern is changing as well. It's still under construction. It's 1/3 built, so there's still potential for the district to use new info for the next construction phase.
The mobile lab shares its data with anyone who's interested, companies, city planners, and the residents themselves. The data is especially important for the planning phase. The new district...
Barcelona is beautiful. That was my point. It is beautiful. If LA was run right, it would be even better.
...is meant to learn from its mistakes.
At first, it was tolerated that you park your car in front of the door just in order to make your move easier. But that behavior quickly became established and turned into a habit. And when it was later penalized, there was a big fuss.
Oh, you didn't see the news? AOC and Bernie's endorsed candidate has won a massive landslide. She won over a K-Hive. There was a K-Hive TikToker, see, including AOC, Bernie Sanders, and several state and local officials. So she won 61%, and the K-Hive TikToker got like 20%. So it was a massive landslide. And she's going to be one of the most left-wing congresswomen. What is K-Hive? It's like a super pro-establishment Democrat stalking and harassment. They're like people that are like, I think Bernie bros should be executed. Hold on, let me see if I can find an example. There's a guy named Too Raw, Too Real on AOC. This is an example of who that was beat. Does anybody have the Too Raw, Too Real shit about AOC? God, if you guys could find that for me. God damn it, I want a good, here it is.
Oh, you fake ass Bernie, bro. Stop putting this big black woman with these yellow arms under my post. Fuck Rashida, bitch. I don't give a damn about this bitch.
AOC, but make me a goddamn martini. She can't do shit for me. She need to take her ass back to the motherfucking bartending days, bitch. She ain't done shit.
Bernie Sanders. Tell it in this old ass, busted ass face. Let him have another goddamn heart attack. I don't give a fuck. two stints. I don't give a fuck about this. She ain't on the same motherfucking level as fucking Hillary Clinton. And I last checked Hillary Clinton defending bitches like her. Last time, bitch, defending bitch. I thought Bernie Sanders was not billionaire, but it's funny. Maybe it's because you guys have a lot in common, or maybe it's because the fact that you dick so hard that that's why the bottom row of your fucking teeth are rotten, bitch. For them, her ass, what the motherfucker forgot about was Palestine.
I want to go hard for Kamala Harris, but I ain't heard nothing about this black agenda. Bitch, shut the fuck up! It's on that motherfucking website. Look it up!
Hillary did more for black people than motherfucking fighting off, going undercover, getting niggas out of jail in South Carolina.
Shut the fuck up if you don't know!
Bernie, how the fuck say that shit? Your ass say
The worst motherfucking representation of what a woman's supposed to be in motherfucking Congress. I've never heard motherfucking Kamala Harris ever fucking complain. Remember, before this, you was just a bitch-ass bartender. Fuck AOC.
booing a bitch for your bitch ass. Not for women's rights, for your motherfucking ass even got here a bit. Who the fuck are you, bitch? Your ass ain't. You're full of shit. How dare you? How dare.
And here he is dancing with Kamala Harris.
I got my boots on the ground. I got my boots on the ground. Where the fans at?
And he was invited to the White House with Joe Biden. This is him in the Oval Office. So Gija Fox was a part of this group that he's a part of, and she was an old Kamala Harris staffer, and so she tried to put on this like very fake pseudo progressive campaign, but she was challenging one of the most left-wing she was in one of the most left-wing districts in the country to move it to the right. And unfortunately for all of us, Bernie and AOC intervened to stop her and elect the daughter of one of the most progressive congressmen who died, and his daughter ran. And she is also progressive, supports all the things, good on Palestine. And, you know, she used to have like bad take 12, 13 years ago, but she's been really good on Palestine as her own politician now in office. Whereas Gija Fox, as I said, allied with that too raw, too real guy. And if you go and look at her, you'll see that it's all like, I'm young. Let me see if we can find her top videos.
My name is Dash.
Yeah, hear Jasmine Crockett with too raw, too real. Baby, if I keep the eye on the prize, we're a person. We got 99 problems and your cussing ain't one. In case you wanted to know who Jasmine Crockett is. In case you want to know what people think of me, they're scared shitless. These people are scared shitless of me.
Food and dinner on the table and Medicaid. We could go to the doctors when we needed. And when I was a teenager, things were rough. Station, long nights. I was homeless and I turned to plan for my kids. The stories so many of us, knowing that the people in D.C. have never lived. When I was a teenager, I became one. I organized for here in Southern Arizona to tow with a fund. Planned Parenthood said I had no money, no parent, and no insurance. I wasn't, and I'm not. When that they are above, who are elected accountable. And I'm not here because I have a legacy last name or donors or billionaires that contributed to our campaign. And I know there's drive DoorDash. They cash
By the way,
in.
chat, notice how there is no policies other than like, I like Planned Parenthood. This is how you know somebody's not a leftist is like, wants to artistically info dump every single piece of information that they're like, let me tell you about Medicare for all, and let me tell you about free college, and let me tell you about free childcare, let me talk about that. That's how leftists, corporate stooges, progressives talk like this. Fill in the blanks.
Jar when they're hardly making that is getting more care and
she
rent.
Noticed how expensive it is, but does she have a plan?
$15 and I'm putting 1 hour of my hard and they are my man. You are why I am on.
Does anyone have that like debate? Let me see if I can find it.
List to just today, millions are exercising their right. The most dangerous threat to our American democracy. Thank you. Hola, buenas tardes. My name is Adelita. We are in a critical, pivotal crossroads in our nation. We have a that is using the military of civilians exercising their right. The most dangerous threat to our American democracy is clear and our survival for.
Notice how she immediately went on the side of protesters. Notice how she didn't talk about other bullshit. She was like, hey, he's illegally using the military of protesters that I support. What were they protesting? ICE. Notice that it wasn't like, here's the programs that I took advantage of, but I don't have any plan.
Just today in Arizona, we saw ICE invade our communities and create fear, We are living through the consequences of electing a president who has surrounded himself with loyalists. Not Trump's power is dependent on suppressing those in. We are living through unethical, brutal, inhumane attacks are based on policies rooted in fear-mongering, scapegoating. I take this time to state that I stand with the immigrant community. I stand with all.
Oh, why are you? What? Come on.
We are fighting for the future.
Don't you think that's a little bit? Don't you think that's a little bit extreme? Don't you like our ICE agents?
Of our youth, elders, women, LGBTQ, veterans, and our indigenous communities who have all been marginalized and pushed aside. We need leaders willing to call out injustice, position and a stand, and risk it all for the benefit of. We are facing a big, but I am optimistic that not only are we up to the challenge, but this is one that we're going to. There is a saying in my culture: "Cuando las raíces fuertes, no hay por temer el viento." When the roots are strong, there is no reason to. I am grateful for the coalition, to officials, 20 organizations, 10 labor unions that have convalesced and are supporting this campaign.
Coalesced.
The life that I have and the life that many of us have in CD7 on.
I'm Patrick.
All right, let's
answer the question.
Leader Grahal, you have 1 minute for.
Thank you so much. I want to thank you, the voters at home, for tuning in and for your time and attention. This is a really critical. In this race, you have a choice of not just candidates, you have a choice of leadership styles. In me, you have someone that worked coalition, ran a juvenile diversion program 6 years that worked pipeline, work hand in hand with community, Tucson Unified District Governing Board, County. I am the most important job in your representative is to bring the voices of Southern Arizona to Congress. That is our voice, our collective. That is bigger than one single person. I am an unapologetic, progressive voice that stand up. It would be an honor to serve you and represent this community in Congress, this community that I've known for my entire life. My name is Adelita.
Mr. Maldito.
Oh my God, they only gave them 30 seconds? They only gave her 30 seconds? Tell me why people said progressive lost. Because they're an idiot and they don't know the history of the district. And the answer is the progressive won a landslide. The progressive won a landslide. That's what happened. By the way, here's the too raw, too real guy telling Bernie Sanders to crawl into Emmett Till's casket. Hey, Bernie Sanders, I know you're cheap as hell, but here's a nice and comfy casket. Jump in. It was only $5 on Groupon. This funeral about to be litty as fuck. Hypothetically speaking, hashtag never Bernie, hashtag Bernie or bust, hashtag Bernie Sanders. This is a picture of Emmett Till's casket, who was famously a 14-year-old boy who was lynched and then his body dumped in a swamp. And as I said before, this is who Joe Biden and Kamala Harris personally endorse. People hate you. If you're on the left, fucking hate you. And so when these people are fighting tooth and nail against AOC and Zoran, I think perhaps we should show them a little bit of solidarity. While I know that too raw, too real doesn't represent most Democratic voters, I do think he represents the DNC. Jamie Harrison and Biden clearly do not mind the toxic comments too raw, too real makes. Most Democratic voters would be appalled by this kind of rhetoric. Most Democrats like Bernie and AOC. Actually, they're the most with Democrats. Biden invited influencer too raw, too real to the White House, a man who once said the only thing AOC could do for him was make martini. I mean, that's not even like the most evil shit he said. Let's show a little bit of solidarity, chat. Grillo says that not only are Mexico, Hawks, and Washington salivating at the notion of military action inside Mexico, but there are plans already being drawn up. The threat is extremely serious. What? Stated that he's been able to confirm with several sources that U.S. military personnel are preparing at Fort Bliss, an army posted for a possible intervention inside Mexican territory. All right, well, we'll look closely at this. Chad, will you join the Center for Proletariat Solidarity with me? Will you guys join the Center for Proletariat Solidarity with me? All right, what else do we have to say? Joe Genite really wants you to look at their chat logs defending Deja Fox. Ooh. Make the call to CPS and join the proletariat. Exactly. You think Deja Fox is to the left of her? You think Deja Fox? Her father was the first congressman to endorse Bernie for president.
I'm going to ask you
Why not me? 4 billionaires are us, and there are structural barriers. I'm a woman of generation race. I didn't inherit a donor list, and so I'm.
What? So many people in my generation are fired up over that issue. Anyway, I won't say anything more. Zoran Mamdani sticks to socialist guns, tax the rich plan during highly anticipated sit-down with New York City big business leaders. Socialist Zoe tells Biz, I'll raise taxes and you won't leave. He talks so much. Honestly, chat, I don't know why you guys are excited over this sellout. I don't know why you guys are excited over this sellout. We will be handing out bottled water on the 101 third exit. We raised $150, and that's what we're going to be doing instead. Being excited about a socialist winning the biggest city in America, and possibly one of the most important cities of the world, bar none.
Of beating Mamdani, Andrew Cuomo or Mayor Adams, and will either one of them ever consider?
Well, it depends on what happens between now and then. It's the election until November, so that's a question, and that's the question that Governor Cuomo has said. Well, let's see who's winning in September. So I think.
You think one of them will drop out?
I do not. I'd be very surprised.
And you better be setting up the money. You're doing the right thing.
What are the latest polls that you've shown? What are your odds, I would say?
That Mamdani is essentially ahead of the pack, and Cuomo, but Cuomo just finished a $30 million campaign, and Eric hasn't started his campaign. Who knows?
Let me ask you about security in the city. One of the things that obviously I think a lot of business leaders have been thinking about is policing in the city and the like. I think there's a lot of people in commission.
I love watching the business press, man. It's such a positive vibe, dude. It's such a good vibe to watch the business press because they're so fucking scared
of the police. Did you get a sense that he keep her in that role? I mean, there's been questions about whether he would want to, not want to, given some of the policing in the city.
Well, the question did come up, and he said what he has said publicly for the last week, keeping Jessica role. Her father sitting in the front row meeting. So I think his position is he's open, but it was no commitment.
Right. I have a question, by the way, this is separate and apart from this. Do you believe that Eric Adams' role in this city, when it comes to police, by the way, the police record under her, but also under him, has actually been good. I mean, in terms of
it's excellent.
It's excellent. Doesn't get a lot of credit. The other thing that's fascinating in this city is, in terms of ICE raids and National Guards running around, we don't have that in this city right now. We do have it in LA and other parts of the country. And there is a question mark about why that is and whether that's a function actually of this mayor's relationship with the city, with the president of the United States, rather. I say that because we all, some people say Eric Adams is a hostage of the president, but in some cases you could look and say, well, being kidnapped, whatever relationship he has, might actually have been helping keep the city from turning into, some kind of National Guard, ICE raid situation.
Well, I think you're understating the role that Governor Hochul played in working with President to try and keep a lid on the ICE, although there are disturbing trends now, a huge windfall.
Yeah, she's on behalf of the plutocrats. Yes, I know. I love watching these the business press shitting their pants is so fucking great.
Of funds in the big beautiful bill, and so they haven't had the resource to go into.
Do you think they're coming to New York next?
I would not in thinking they're not coming here. It stands between us and them. This moment is Governor Hochul.
By the way, the way that people say misleading polls, and by the way, I made fun of Harris X. See if I can find it for you, chat. Harris. Oh man, it's like pollster. I think I made a tweet about them recently with the word pollster in it. Here we go. No, that's not it. Damn, I didn't say pollster. What did I say? Maybe it was missed? Oh, there it is. I found it. First post-Dem primary poll by Honan Strategy Group, 817 likely voters. If Cuomo runs as an independent, he's tied with Mamdani, 39-39. This polling company missed the primary by 27 points. I think this is it was a different group, actually. Harris X was also incredibly wrong. So the way that polling, people will vote, and this is important, for general elections, you need to say the party identification of each of the candidates. So it's stand and deliver Andrew Cuomo, Democratic Party nominee Zohran Mamdani, Republican Party nominee Silwa, and what's the Eric Adams party? The fuck was the Eric Adams party? The Fight Anti-Semitism party or something like that? Andrew Cuomo running as an independent on the Fight and Deliver ballot line. Eric Adams as an independent running on the anti-Semitism line and the safe and affordable ballot line. And did a stream with Sneeko. Yeah. Okay, what else did I want to talk about today? Oh God, I didn't even talk about Trump. Jesus Christ. Trump?
This morning, the story that will not go away for Trump and not go This morning, the story that will not go away for President Trump and not
for the
go
tier
away
3.
because Republicans on the Hill are joining in the Maga chorus demanding more transparency on. This is reaching something of a fever pitch right now and creating the most bizarre alliances. MAGA influencers, congressional Republicans, and congressional Democrats essentially teaming up against the Trump administration and its handling of a case that went away in 2019 when Jeffrey Epstein died in jail, sparking a flood of conspiracy theories on the right. Even House Mike Johnson is now speaking out, calling on the Department of Justice to release whatever files they and Trump, after years saying he would release files and wanted them released to the American people, now says not get it.
I don't understand it, why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big actor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is. I really don't. It's pretty boring stuff. Sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. Credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
Attorney General Pam Bondi, for her part, is not budging, maintaining that after their review of the files, there is no threats, as I mentioned. They're really jumping in now. They tried to force President's hand here, putting an amendment in an unrelated bill to release the Epstein files. That failed, stopping Democrats from trying to exploit this break, this fissure between Trump and his party. And it's Kevin Liptak is joining us now starting us off from the White House this morning. Where is this headed today, Kevin?
Well, it's certainly not dying down, which had been a nation of yesterday. Supporters still very about all of this. It's not clear that saying that he doesn't understand it, saying that only very bad going to have these. And a lot of the ire continues to be general. Remember, only a few months ago said in client list on her review, but then in that memo last week, such a list did not exist. Now, we heard from Mike Johnson, ally of Prince in Washington, was asked.
We should put everything out there and let the people decide. Pam Bondi, I don't know, when she originally made the statement, I think she was talking about documents, as I understood it, they were on her desk. I don't know that she was specific about a list or whatever, but she needs to come forward and explain that to everybody.
So clearly now a lot of pressure mounting to put out more information on this yesterday, even as he tried all of this. Bondi should put out more he calls credible, but at this diminished possibility that such a list might exist, saying that it's created by his political rival. We've also heard Democrats hearings on people who are associated in the judge. We also been saying that from the Ghislaine Maxwell testifying, she's of course serving 20 years in Tallahassee, not exactly, but in that he was open to that, saying that
the calls are growing from within President's party to release more information about the case around Jeff. So as the continues to over Epstein into the second week, some of the president's House allies basically want to see more transparency. Earlier this year, Pam Bondi, Attorney General, told Fox News a list of Epstein clients was, quote, sitting on her desk for review. You can see an image there of also moved on this issue. Sources are now telling CNN that she was actually referring to files which were later given to right-wing influencers at the White House. Big folders labeled the Epstein files fake. President Trump confused why so many in his party are with this.
I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein to anybody. It's pretty boring, sordid, it's boring.
Could someone link me Donald Trump, like the video? There's like an audio clip of Jeffrey Epstein saying he was Donald Trump's best friend for 10 years. The guy standing next to Trump was Epstein's neighbor and colleague.
I don't understand why it keeps going.
Group chat is back. CNN has done some polling on the issue and found that 3% of Americans are satisfied with the amount of information released on this case. That dissatisfaction along party lines isn't even that far off. As always, I care about the independents, which is now at 2%. And Democrats getting religion. Very interested now, Maria. 56% are like, I don't know who wants a clean way out.
I think politically for Democrats right now, they're doing the right thing, fanning the flames, because this is something that is going to be very detrimental to Trump and Republicans. The fanning of the flames needs to show MAGA-based pastors who were so supportive are the ones who are now saying we need more. He's not doing what we thought. We did not vote for this. If Democrats continue to underscore that as to just chiming in ourselves about how this needs to be something, it's important for the American people, right? Yeah. That's what we'd be doing, is underscoring how this could be the one thing, Adi, we have always asked, what is the one thing, if it exists, that would make the base turn? Certainly wasn't him shooting somebody on Fifth Avenue.
Exactly.
This could be it.
And I should show a true president basically saying, why are we giving to files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, I mean, it's the road.
He's in the list. He's on the list. Like, the idea that they ran on the Epstein files as like, oh, there's so many people in the Epstein files that we need to get right. He's in the fucking Epstein files. They were written by crooked Hillary. And that's why Hillary put Bill Clinton in it, because Hillary wanted a divorce. It's the only way she could get a divorce. And she could finally marry the woman of her dreams. Like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Gallery, it's all the things, all the things. Just put them in there.
Yeah, blame it on them.
And the response in general. Give the last few seconds to you.
Yeah, that's right. Not being this goes to Donald Trump's core, right? This idea that the outsider who's going to come in and kids
and turn the place. He's the savior.
He is the savior to do this, and now for him to say, "Oh, there's nothing to see here. Why are people up in arms against his identity and the identity of people for these offices?" Patel, Pam Bondi, so
Dan
they've got a real,
especially.
Don Bongino.
Joining me now is Holly Baltz, a Palm Beach Post. Holly, good morning to you, and it's so great to have you. You and your colleagues have covered Jeffrey Epstein going back years and years. Said that I'd like to get your reaction to Trump now claiming that the files were made up by Obama and Joe Biden. He's also blaming former FBI Director Comey. What do you say to that?
Thank you, everybody.
So how do you know this?
That was close to straight.
So I need the give me that.
First, it's fun. You probably know he had a scalp up. He had the same male pattern model that we all have. He had his scalp moved. Donald's office, as you know, he made that. He used to be on the phone and stuff, PR post. I also found it funny. I was sitting there listening to the guys from the Post talk, and Donald would say, he's a great guy. I loved working with him. And I sit there going, this is just amazing. And he'd say, Michael, come on, let's go to the office. And tell me, what's it like? He'd say, you like having sex with your wife? How often do they? Seriously, Michael, how often do we have sex? I mean, don't you want? You and I can go upstairs, or tomorrow come over. There's this girl's coming in from Los Angeles, part of the Hawaiian Tropic. So come over with your car. You're going to have a great time. I promise you, Michael, it's just me and you. You're going to have a great time. Be up here at 3 o'clock. We can go upstairs. The whole time, Victoria's been on setting it up because he wants a story. So he has you on, because as an avoid conversation, you're not going to say yes, my wife. He had a really well speech to how would you like really
Mike, you're closing. Oh, you're covering the closed caption. So
you must have had a better wife, right? I said, yes. Tell me about it. And the wives are listening. I think you're really hot. And I know you think you're a guy. Michael, end of the world, the best guy on earth, you'll be married. You're wrong. Just listen to the next moment when you're in the office.
So, Jeffrey Epstein claims to have been the best friend of Donald Trump for 10 years and then goes and tells a story about how he got scalp reduction and how they used to troll for pussy. It's not looking good.
Yeah, that's a very interesting statement because, they went, his administration under the department arrested and charged Jeffrey Epstein in 2019. Jeffrey Epstein never goes away. Constant attention and fascination. I can tell you, we've been covering him. He was originally arrested here in 2006. And, he will always be around, it seems. So.
Yeah, and Pam Bondi is trying to stand her ground for now. Memo, the very memo that so infuriated so many in the MAGA world, quote, speaks for itself. Tenable is this position that Bondi is in right now, Holly, to standing behind that DOJ memo, but also her job.
Well, I can't to her job. Writing this thing out seems an extraordinary thing to do. Because again, the Jeffrey Epstein case has attracted so much fascination. It does always feel like that there is something going on behind the scenes, or has been, that people don't know about. She looks to me like it's kind of a matter of over-promising and under-delivering.
Hassan will not be streaming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Why? What's he doing? Trump call. Oh my God. The radical left Democrats have hit pay dirt again and fully discredited Steele dossier The lying 51 intelligence agents, they were intelligence agencies, you fucking idiot. The laptop from hell, which the Democrats swore had come from Russia. No, it came from Hunter Biden's bathroom. And even the Russia scam itself, a totally fake and made up story used in order to hide crooked Hillary's big loss in the 2016 presidential election. These scams and hoaxes are all the Democrats are good at. It's all they have. They're no good at governing, no good at policy, and no good at picking winning candidates. Again, also, unlike Republicans, they stick together like glue. Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my past supporters have bought into this bullshit, hook, line, and sinker. They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will, even after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 long years. I've had more success than 6. Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Okay, sorry. I've had more success in 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history. And all these people want to talk about, with strong prodding by the fake news and the success-starved Dems, is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success, because I don't want their support anymore. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. Yo, this is like Hitler in the Berlin bunker. It's like at the end of the World War II when Hitler was in the bunker and defeat was certain. And he was like, we need to destroy the German nation. Hitler demanded all Germans fight to their deaths. During a 3-hour military briefing in the Führer bunker in April of 1945, Hitler reportedly let loose a shrieking denunciation of the German army and the universal treason, corruption, lies, and failures of all those who let him down. The Nuremberg Decree, and a chilling display of resentment toward his own people for not achieving victory, Hitler issued the Nuremberg Decree, also known as the Scorched Earth Decree. This decree mandated the destruction of Germany's infrastructure, including communication, transportation facilities, railroads, communication lines, docks, public utilities, factories, and mines. This is Donald Trump's Nuremberg Decree. He's basically saying, MAGA has betrayed me. They've betrayed me over Jeffrey. Destroy them all. Do you guys think Donald Trump would launch nukes? Do you think Donald Trump would like launch nukes because everyone hates him and he's gonna die? And like, more for vindication? Hold on. Would you consider joining an alternative party to the Democrats or Republicans? Yes, 49%. No, 45%. Would you consider joining a third party created by Elon Musk? No, 77. Yes, 17. Ladies and gentlemen, this is incredible. This is amazing. Also, 49% yes. Just posted. Wow, amazing that Epstein killed himself and Ghislaine is in federal prison for a hoax.
Past all this intrigue over the Epstein files, but I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your attorney general told you this was a hoax? What evidence have you seen?
No, it's not the attorney general. No, I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him. And it's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax. The 51 agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. And some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net. And so they try and do the Democrats' work. The Democrats are good for nothing other than these hoaxes. They're bad for policy. They're bad for picking candidates that can get elected. Like in New York, we have a communist running. He may get elected too, actually, but he'll destroy the city. It's I call it the Epstein hoax. It takes a lot of time and effort. Instead of talking about the great achievements we've had, a great gentleman yesterday, as you know, went on CNBC and he made the statement that Trump may go down as the greatest president of all in the United States. And instead of talking about the things we've achieved, we've had tremendous achievement. They're wasting their time with a guy who obviously had some very serious problems, who died 3-4 years ago. I'd rather talk about the success we have with the economy, the best we've ever had, and all of the things we've done, including in the Middle East. I mean, you see it. Instead, they want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people. Yeah, go ahead.
But chat, see, it's all part of, they're just trying to convince you that voting for Zoran matters. What Donald Trump is trying to do is he's trying to get a pro-Palestinian socialist as mayor of New York because it's all a psyop to convince you that voting matters. See? And when you get that free childcare, that's what the psyop is even working harder.
Mr. President, there's lots of reports coming in.
Which reminds me, we never finished the video of what socialism looks like.
This morning,
to the New York City mayoral race, which of course has become...
We're going to watch this in a second. We didn't finish did I close the video? I just closed it, didn't I? I just stopped watching it. Let me just show you something, chat. Let me just show you something. It made me tear up. Hold on. Maybe it was she over here? This is like the worst video player of all time. You can't get a preview of what you're looking at. You just have to blind guess. Oh, here we go.
What an abundance. And they have this fabulous name. They're called communists.
What gets grown and when in the 1,000 square meters of garden is a collective decision. Vegetable gardens, sustainable architecture, good public transport access. None of this comes cheap. Another core principle of Seestadt is social diversity. The sale of real estate within the project to private investors helps fund social housing and public developments. Here, sustainability also makes economic sense. Vast amounts of data are collected to ensure an optimized energy supply. Europe's largest ever energy research project, which employs over 200 people, is underway in Seestadt-Aspern. Sensors are installed all over the district. They record in real time how much energy each building consumes and how much it produces.
This particular building is almost net zero. It uses just a little more electricity than it produces. Next door is an Energy Plus building. It produces more electricity than it consumes. And we can go one step further. Take a building that requires a lot of cooling. It will also have a lot of waste heat. That warm energy is released into the atmosphere, and that's problematic for the surrounding city. It's more efficient and intelligent to make the waste heat available to the neighboring building.
Identifying and solving problems together. Seestadt is all about community. That's the message I keep hearing. We're on our way to Vienna's newest Gemeindebau, or municipal building, a social housing concept dating back to the 1920s.
You can still read on the buildings that they were financed from the revenues of the residential construction tax. That was a tax on luxury goods, automobiles, service personnel, entertainment such as opera and theater, and so on. All this was taxed, and the funds were used to finance the municipal building projects.
The tax no longer exists, but while other cities in Europe are struggling with spiraling rents and real estate speculation, over half of Vienna's housing market is city-owned. 4,000 new subsidized homes are in the pipeline. The city already owns 220,000 apartments like these. 25% of Vienna's residents live in municipal housing.
Hallo.
Hi, are you coming down?
Super, danke.
Great, thanks.
When I first came here, it felt very sci-fi and utopian. I expected to see flying cars and such things. What I think is great is that there's neighborhood management. They organize lots of projects for the Seestadt residents, and it makes you feel very at home.
Is Seestadt as utopian as it seems? Is this green urban development project community living at its best? The last stop on my visit to Vienna is an intergenerational apartment block. The apartments are small, but there are also communal spaces and a roof garden. And here, too, a strong sense of community.
It's sustainable living because we borrow things from each other. People ask, for instance, hey, can I borrow your iron? And I just have my grandson visiting, so I needed a cot, a baby rocker, and a high chair. And I was able to borrow everything, so that was great.
Both women moved to Seestadt Aspern from much bigger apartments in the inner city, a move neither have ever regretted.
I love how many sports grounds there are under and around the train tracks. And they're always in use throughout the day until late in the evening. There's always laughter, there's always something happening. It's vibrant. It makes me happy.
All the buildings in the first construction phase have been state subsidized, which is why so many young families live here. The next development phase will see the construction of privately financed apartments, lofts, and terraced houses. Seestadt Aspern is a work in progress, learning, evolving, and flourishing.
I didn't even really talk about the beach. We skipped over that part.
Questionnaires.
Tolerated. At first glance, it's nothing special. All the initial development is pretty much just concrete construction, with a few exceptions. But the sustainable aspect is it all comes from the lake.
Okay, there we go. Are you okay?
The lake didn't exist. It was excavated. In the environmental impact statement, it was stipulated that everyone driving in here with over a certain number of trucks a day would have to pay a toll. That made the concrete so expensive that it was cheaper to produce it on site with the plant we built here. So the first phase of Seestadt Aspern was virtually born out of the lake.
The artificial lake is the center of the neighborhood. The whole district is built slightly sloping towards it so that all the rainwater collects there. In addition, it's fed by the groundwater flow of the Danube River. Seestadt Aspern is home to some unique examples of sustainable architecture. At 24 stories and 8...
This is Deutsche Welle, which is a German... This is the German news channel.
84 meters high, the Ho-Ho is the world's second tallest wooden skyscraper. An office building is under construction here that doesn't need central heating or air conditioning. Extremely thick brick walls make it possible.
In the first phase, sustainability was not the big issue. Residential development was the main concern, and we didn't even realize that was a key to sustainability. That turned out to be the case when the first thing started to work. We thought, wow, that worked. Now we can take it a step further. Then came social change, when suddenly in society and in politics, doors were opening. Early on, we argued about things like planting big trees and ended up planting small ones. Now it's common practice.
Seestadt is built on spongy ground. Under the trees and plant beds, there's a layer of gravel 80 centimeters thick. The gaps are filled with a substrate of sand, compost, and biochar, which serves two functions. It can store water and also release nutrients. But many residents find the gravel beds around the young trees too drab. Various initiatives are trying to make them more attractive. But it's not all that easy.
Anyway, there you have it, chat. What it might look like if you had a socialist project. Modern, intelligent, sustainable, desirable, and happy. Back to our shithole.
Partner Ghislaine Maxwell, but it's worth understanding how it was.
Trump says he's
Donald Trump as the white hat pedophile theory is not seeming to be the case.
Was trouble, and as a concerned citizen.
Did you see Bill Burr in Subway Takes?
How you doing? I'm doing good. How are you?
We saw this. Wait, is this the full release? Okay, we might have to watch it. Oh my God, Richie Torres is like bending the knee to fucking Zoran. His hater became his waiter. Israel supporting defund the police decrying and Cuomo primary aligning Rep. Richie Torres seems to be going out of his way to defend Democratic mayoral nominee Zoran Mamdani. They're so scared. Oh my God, he's been he has been beaten. Completely beaten. Holy shit. Holy shit, dude. That's so fucking funny. Why can't people just enjoy the wins? Why can't people just enjoy the wins? I don't understand. Like, if Zoran were running around going like, I love AIPAC and Israel is great, that would be one thing. I would totally understand being mad at him. But why aren't people able to enjoy the fact that these cowardly slimes are running around scared of him? They know that if they try to fight Zoran, he's going to win and they're going to get primaried. So they're trying to kiss his ass. Now, Zoran is smart. I hope he realizes these people are snakes and he needs to take them out. But can we win first? The primary for Congress is next year. Can we win this election and then do the thing? Can we do things in sequence that make sense? Richie Torres was acting tough on MSNBC last week, but he's clearly scared about a primary from the left. He knows Zoran is favored to win, and there's enough support to go after him if he doesn't get in line. I mean, that's what's happening. But guess what? We're still going to primary his ass. Why the fuck wouldn't we? The German city, it's actually an Austrian city, and the name is Vienna. It's the second largest German-speaking city in the world, fifth largest city in Europe, and the largest city. All right, everybody. I'm going to call that. I will see you all very soon. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Sorry that I was so harsh earlier on wrecking. I'm sorry, chat, but now is not the time. Now is the time for solidarity. Now is the time for covering each other's backs. Now is the time. I mean, I've had Nazis trying to do me death threats all yesterday. And to have people come on here and go, oh, I'm going to wreck the projects that you're working on based on a rumor from the Wall Street Journal pissed me off. I got to be honest. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I will be making more content on all my platforms, especially Tickety Talk and YouTube. So make sure you follow all of those. Thank you so much for all your support. Stay safe, solidarity forever, and remember, enjoy the wins. Laugh at our enemies. Don't turn a friend into the enemy because you are too scared to believe and dream again. All right, everybody, stay safe. I love you. I'll see you all tomorrow. And remember, solidarity is how socialism wins. Free Palestine from the river to the sea. Death, death,